Two guys come on a stream. They start talking to the audience, trying to pitch their sort of ideas. They say, we're going to use all the slurs in there. We'll even throw cis in there just in case and have them do all the degenerate acts. And they'll be doing all this funky stuff with icky stuff and thing. So what do you think I'm going to call this show? The Aristocrats. Welcome everyone. We're going to be talking about comedy. Wanted to start off with just a sample of the Aristocrats joke. YouTube friendly even, not the slurs, although I'm sure people could push the boundaries of the Aristocrats joke so far nowadays.
Guy goes into a talent agent's office, says, I have the greatest act in the world.
It's a family act.
And the agent goes, well, what do you people do?
The world has changed, you know.
If we weren't such prudes. So we're going to...
Not on this platform.
Comedy tonight. Yes, this platform has gotten terrible, but let's not get to this yet.
Now, Aristocrats couldn't be done now. Now that is something that movie... Maybe it would come out right now as an anti, freedom of speech.
But back then it was just funny and weird and wild. But today it would be like a statement.
But that's what it was. It was Penn Jillette and Paul Provenza, who directed it, made it. Took 4 years and filmed 100 comedians telling the same joke that I'd only heard twice in my life. And the point was censorship, different ways that people can do an art form, all tell the same thing. Everybody paint the same painting, and let's see what happens.
Let's think about the good times, George Carlin, Lenny Bruce, all sorts of comedy, and got arrested. Okay, so things come and go. Opposition things. What are your thoughts on the general state of comedy? Start with the past, like with the old stand-up comedians.
I'm a huge fan of comedy. I pretty much I know all the greats. I also am a huge fan of Lenny Bluth. Lenny Bruce was awesome. I don't know. It's a different kind of comedy. It definitely doesn't hit like the comedy of today, but you can see that there was something completely different, especially if you put it with like the comedy of the time. But then, I don't know, there's some comedy that's timeless. I really hate to use him as an example, but like Cosby's bits, like they were quite funny. But I don't know. I actually heard, I can't remember what I was listening to the other day, but it actually started playing one of his albums and it was like, okay, it's really sad that this was actually, super funny. It works in a different way. I don't think it's the kind of comedy that would hit today, although apparently he is touring now. So I don't know. I kind of like to see that, even though, it would be controversial to say the least, and for reasons other than his comedy.
Because it's not former Kramer or Michael Richards.
Yeah, well, that wasn't comedy.
No.
Like, that's the problem. He wasn't telling a joke. He was just being racist and an asshole. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing.
And you'll find that on Discord every day.
A comedian.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just it's strange. Comedy has definitely evolved, and it's changed with each decade. And it's weird. What's mainstream has definitely changed as well. There's a lot of mainstream. Yeah, I'm doing like finger quotes of comedy here. Like I don't know. You ever watch Hannah Gatsby?
I think I tried. Yeah, that was the one
that's
Chappelle
where
made
most
fun
people
of.
get. Yeah. Well, he didn't really make fun of her. He just made everyone state the truth that she is not funny.
Okay.
You could see that as a joke, but it could be reality.
Highly likely.
It depends on your point of view. But it's a different kind of comedy. It's comedy without jokes or humor. I think we've talked about the concept on a different show, but it's clapter. What you're looking for is like the audience to go like, nah. It's not the same as a comedy show. Like, a comedy show really should challenge you. I don't know. I enjoy dark comedy. I enjoy comedy that makes me think. I like thinking, how is a comedian going to get out of this situation? There's no way that I could agree with them. And then having them do that and just blow me away. Like, that to me is just like amazing. That's what I love in comedy. A lot of the comedians today, they're not looking to do that. They're not looking to challenge you. They're looking to say what's acceptable and then just stick with that. And I think that's a huge difference. I don't know. That seems to be what's mainstream right now, which a few years ago, that didn't seem to be what was mainstream. So that seems to be the difference that I'm seeing it. But I'm just a comedy fan. I'm no expert on the subject.
Oh, that's why I invited you on. Comedy is sort of something you made your mark with your talk with Bob and defending comedy,
Yeah.
which I'm gonna hopefully get into. Frankly, my comedy stand-up, I'm rather critical overall. I like more animated storytellers. Like Richard Pryor was definitely someone I could listen to forever. He could tell the greatest
Awesome.
stories, and they're all so funny. Even George Carlin had some great bits, but they were more
For sure.
biting. It wasn't really about him telling stories. It was
Kind of
him-
depends what era you get of him too.
Yeah.
It seems like anger kind of came on a little bit stronger at certain times.
Yeah, and let's not even get into some issues about people with Carlin. Let's just say he was a good man with good
For sure.
hippie values. And I can respect a man for that. Fight the power, all that fun stuff. But stand-up is really, I'm really picky. Like there's a lot of stand-up comedians people recommend to me, and not a lot of them are great to me. As I said, Pryor definitely was great. Probably why I got into Chappelle, because very similar comedy style, telling the story and sort of
Yeah.
jazzing it up with different events.
Yeah, I love storytellers in comedy. Do you ever go for? Oh, Ralphie May was awesome. Rest in peace. Ralphie May was just amazing.
As long as
Were
it's not
you,
big fluffy.
No, he was bigger and fluffier and more funny. He was hardcore. He was awesome. He would roast and get roasted a lot. Ralphie May was the shit. So you mentioned like a lot of storytellers. Are you interested in like one-liner comedians at all, or is it just stories for you?
Oof.
Like say like a Stephen Wright or like a Mitch Hedberg. Would those type of jokes just be like too
A little bit too
quick for
dry.
you,
I like
or-
wordplay. I mean, I'm really picky.
There's a lot of wordplay. Like a lot of those short jokes are just wordplay. But
Depends on the setup.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just very
Fair
picky
enough.
when it comes to stand-up comedian. I really like visual humor. I've always been interested in more visual, collaborative.
So like a Carrot Top or a Gallagher's, like
not
used to
even
be
just stand-up. I'm talking about in video form.
prop
I was
comedy.
more, try to put that. Dave Attell actually was pretty good. I actually like
David
Dave
Tell is
Attell.
great, man.
That's one of, if I'm remembering the right person. But yeah, I'm really
Insomniac,
strict
man.
on stand-up.
Right now, he's still bumping mics with Jeff Ross.
It's been mainly through a lot of other medium forms that I got accustomed to. Some people, like SNL is a good example of something that got me to look up some stand-up. Eddie
Yeah,
Murphy
definitely.
was good back in the day. You stand the tough pick of
He
Cosby,
was.
but Cosby had
He was young as hell, though. I think he was like 19 when he did the. I can't remember which one. Have you gone back to any of his stuff recently?
which person?
Eddie Murphy.
Okay,
he did
I'm like,
Delirious
yeah.
and,
Cosby, I know about him. No, Eddie Murphy, yeah, his stand-up was good back in the day. A little Michael Jackson-ness for me, He had that whole aesthetic, but that was that era. Michael Jackson, big influence on that, but
fair enough.
not hugely. A lot of these stand-up comedians are making more of their names on podcasts nowadays. Does that seem a little odd to you, or does that seem like a natural progression into the new
It seems like-
medium form?
Sorry for cutting you off. It seems like evolution to me. So, sorry, just because we were talking about Eddie Murphy. So he had like Delirious and Raw. I couldn't remember which one came first, but yeah, I don't know, man. Like he was just so young, and like a lot of those jokes, I think he had the potential to be amazing. I think instead he went to the movies, which is great. I mean, Beverly Hills Cop is great. Unfortunately, we got like some Doolittles in there, but Eddie Murphy totally is awesome with his career. But I don't know. I don't think his specials quite hold up as much for me. But I still have the Pryor stuff. So sorry. I totally just blanked on what you said right before I went back to Eddie Murphy. Do you
It doesn't
remember?
really matter, but you brought up Pryor,
Okay,
and
well,
I
I'm
think,
sorry about that. I screwed that
sorry,
up.
when you start listening to so many Pryor CDs as I did back in the day, it's sort of hard to actually
Mhm.
listen to a lot of other guys. Like a lot of people, Stan, C.K. Lewis, who's the other one? Bill Burr, I think. He even had a show, an
Burr's
animated
awesome.
show.
Sorry.
I've listened to his. He doesn't.
F is for family.
I can understand why people like him, but I personally just don't like stand up. But also, Dane Cook
What?
was a really popular comedian for some reason, and that
Okay,
I
do
did
you
not
like
get.
Dane Cook?
No, I hate him as an actor and as a comedian.
Okay, you just mentioned also Dane Cook, and I was going to say, really? So you
No,
think
I'm not
like
comparing the
volume
two.
is funny?
I'm just going. You're going from who's considered the top: C.K. Lewis, Bill Burr. Sorry to say, Joe
So I do
Rogan
remember
was
what you were
never in
saying.
Top Dog, but he
was. I mean, okay, he's been on some great shows though.
Yes.
Like I think that's really where his fame came from.
Field
You know,
day.
you had News Radio, which was just amazing, and then from News Radio, he went to Fear Factor, which was just like amazing. He was also doing UFC commentary at the time, and then crap, what was the other big one? Oh, Man Show 2. Yeah, like he just. I think his career was not necessarily stand-up. That being said, he's been pretty great recently. But yeah, his first couple specials were a little tough for me. I absolutely love Bill Burr. But I do remember where you were going before. You were saying now a lot of the comedians usually coming out of podcasts instead of where it was before. I do think that is like the natural incubator for them. I think that's amazing because you actually get to experience these comedians. You get to find out what it's like essentially at those tables in all the comedy clubs where they're all just roasting each other. They're just giving each other shit
I love
backstage.
the roast.
That's where comedy can be the best. Yeah, but it's not even like, a scheduled roast. It's just, two friends shooting the shit, making fun of each other. That seems to be what podcasts have become. And it's amazing. That seems to be where comedy is super strong. Like you don't see a lot of scripted podcasts or anything like that where they're doing a lot of sketches. They exist. They're not, the Joe Rogans out there. Instead, it is kind of, comedians shooting the shit. And that's what the Joe Rogan podcast started at. Joe Rogan Experience, anyway. They were just doing it in the back room of the Ice House. It was just a bunch of comedians. You'd go do your time on stage, come back, shoot the shit. It seems to make a lot of sense compared to the way that it was before. You would keep doing spots. You'd work up a tight 5, and then you hopefully will get on some sort of entertainment show. You do 5 minutes, and then that's just to bring in more people. Now podcasts, they can really get a sense of your actual personality. I know podcasts have introduced me to way more comedians than I've ever seen on like The Tonight Show, or if they happen to be the guest on like Saturday Night Live. It opens the floodgates and allows like the cream of the crop to rise to the top to, steal a great line from a great man.
Yeah, it's not like Saturday Night Live has actually produced any people of recent years.
Yeah, there's quite a few that came through there.
But
I mean, like, like the comedians that host, you get a monologue and then you're just kind of in sketches. It's not like it really
I like
shows
that
you what that
format.
comedian can
Okay, originally, the golden era of freaking SNL brought up so many freaking movies out of these stupid little sketches and so many great comedic actors. That's probably where my strength really comes into it, is the comedic actor. But I'm more of an actor or a writer who likes to play with language. And why I do respect the stand-up comedians, the one-man act, it's always been a little tougher for me to take that comparison to a more regular produced sort of content, written and interactions between like Buffy, even though it wasn't really a comedy. And why I still call Josh Whedon a tool. Josh Wheaton, whatever his name is, a tool. I think he was a very perceptive writer and director of film. So I don't want to move away from comedy just yet, especially with SNL. But you were right in a comment. But yeah, SNL, what do you, those sort of actors, like some people wouldn't have had any sort of a career if it wasn't for SNL there.
No, it launched so many careers. Like you're 100% correct.
But some of those people could not act. I mean, some of those people couldn't do stand up very well. Also, that brings up the original podcaster,
and a lot of them aren't
Adam Carolla. His stand up is okay, but he doesn't even really do it. His best.
It's more retelling the same stories. So I'm a fan of Carolla. Like I kind of grew up with like old school love lines.
Yeah, so did I. Wow.
I don't know. Him and Drew are kind of like father figures to me in a way. So I don't know. He's always got a place in my heart. But yeah, his stand up is not really where it's at. It really is just retelling the same stories. That being said, they are funny as hell. He's gotten better. He has honed his craft. Now it's more, he just has a bunch of ping pong balls, writes a subject on there. Lets the audience write a subject on there, and then he'll tell a story about it. It's pretty awesome. It's not what I would consider like stand up, but it is comedy, and he's putting on a live show for people. So I don't know. It is what it is. But with like SNL, you know, like it is sketch, so it's not really supposed to just be stand up.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while,
I'm
you know,
moving
like, they have
us
a
more
monologue,
into
but
the direction
usually,
of the more collaborative efforts.
it's comedy.
That we're moving in.
But I mean, like, there's so many of those actors. You're right. Like they probably couldn't do comedy, but I don't know. Like they're just great at what they do. You know, like Phil Hartman, he is one of my all-time favorites.
He had a
on there.
decent
He could
act.
probably play
I wouldn't
anything,
say it's stellar, but definitely him as an actor, comedic actor, was definitely where he excelled. There's a lot.
Well, him at anything, like that dude could kill anything that he did. I don't know if you're aware, but like, you know, America, the band, Horse with No Name. Well, that was his wife, but no. So yeah, he did America's album cover, the Horse with No Name thing. That was Phil Hartman. Like he was just amazingly talented, but every role I've ever seen him in was like believable. Like I don't know, I just love that guy. There are certain actors like that are just like perfect, and those are the kind of guys that they tend to hire on like SNL. Like you get what's his name, the Corky Romano guy. He often would play Chris Kattan. He would often play like next to Will Ferrell or whatever. It's like, yeah, you don't see him doing a bunch of different stuff now, but he was really good in that thing. He was the side man in a lot of those great sketches that really showcased Will Ferrell. I don't know. There's some really good stuff out there, and then there's some really bad stuff on SNL.
Yeah, they turned a lot of it into
Have
movies.
you gone back to watch a bunch of them?
A lot of them
Yeah,
turned into movies.
I think,
and that's sort of
yes.
where I was sort of going with SNL. Like they had great skits on SNL. They were bite-sized, stupid little things, but somehow they spun them out into movies. And why not all of them were great? Superstar, Molly Shannon. Oh, God.
It was a fun sketch, like the first couple times you see it, and then it's like, okay, do we need
a whole movie, Night at the Roxbury's?
Yeah,
that was a little bit better, but really wasn't something that
I feel the same way with the
work.
Sketch, but
Coneheads,
I mean, you kind of go the same way with like Wayne, Coneheads, Wayne's
Blues
World,
Brother,
a lot
Wayne's
of those.
World. I mean, Wayne's World 2 was a little iffy.
So
they pulled it off.
I like Wayne's World.
Of course,
it really
Pardon
works in
me,
those sketches. But
may I have some Grey Poupon?
I like it enough that perhaps I borrowed my name.
Perhaps.
But,
okay.
Yeah.
Origin story
Perhaps.
of Grey
I mean,
Poupée here. Or
it might be my legal name. Who knows at this point?
could be.
But anyway, I'm trying to think. There's like a few other rather strange SNL movies.
I'll agree with that.
But yeah. Oh, yeah. And that's why Wayne's World is a good movie. I'm a big fan. It has affected me in many ways. 2 was a little different. I don't know that they needed a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, it had some value,
yeah.
but yeah, sort of stretching it a little bit. Like Coneheads 2, I don't know what they would have went with that.
Yeah, and I mean, there were other ones like Ladies Man, and I'm trying to think there were some other like kind of weird movies. And then a lot of Will Ferrell's movies kind of seem like they were SNL sketches that just got extended into it. I don't know. It's different. So is sketch like your thing, or is it kind of that live performance in front of people?
A live performance,
like
I did theater. I liked a lot of the...
Well, I mean, like, you mentioned that you didn't like stand-up as much. Is it more like, you know, kind of watching like an actual live performance of comedy, or is
As I
it
said,
more,
I just like the stand-up comedians who could tell a good story. And when you bring multiple actors in and have a good script and have that sort of chemistry, it just like sort of even as horrible as this is going to sound, like Jeff Dunham, the puppet guy. I found that more interesting because they played off of each other. I like that sort of stuff.
Were you familiar of like his predecessor, like Otto and George?
I think I remember Howdy Doody.
So Otto and George was kind of the same thing as like Jeff Dunham. Like he's like a kind of clean cut guy, and the puppet's like super over the edge. Anyway, it's kind of like a trope. I'm sure, you know, they weren't the first to do that either. But yeah, I don't know. I see a certain utility. There's a certain...
Well, there's
I don't know. I was never good at like ventriloquism or anything like that, so it never appealed to me. But you know, I can see utility in the act. A lot of people like that comedy. For some reason, it seems to be boomers. But you know,
are you trying to say something? No.
I don't know.
I'm saying that appealed to me
Yeah.
more, but going beyond that, yes, the acting, the skits, the movies, definitely more my vein of comedy. When everything like the parodies of sheesh, for a long time, the parodies just affected my brain. Spaceballs, Blazing
Spaceballs is
Saddles.
so
I
great.
mean,
Anything
Mel
Mel Brooks
Brooks
is amazing.
did excellent on everything. It didn't need to be a parody. I got Gray to actually listen to A Modest Proposal, which is like classic
It is amazing.
troll. Basically, this dude, a satirical essay. He basically had the satirical essay where he was telling people the Irish should have babies and should give it to the rich to eat as sort of a source. And I cannot imagine how well this went down in its time.
And the
It's
way
just
that it was just worded so eloquently, and I don't
almost
know,
seriously.
there was not like a drop of like, I don't know. I guess you'd say
Dry
it as like
British wit,
sarcasm. Like it
maybe?
is taken very dry and very correct, and it just lays out a plan to solve like the immigration problem, the housing problem, the food problem. It just seems to solve so many problems if
If
you
you
just
just
start
look
eating babies.
exactly. The condition for that is, oh God. I was thinking, I couldn't get away with it, but try to
No.
convince the pro-choice people to become pro-life with a sort of satirical adaptation on that, sort of like James Lindsay and Peter Bashami's sort of essays on that. It probably
Oh
wouldn't
yeah,
work.
the oh, the hoaxes. I forget
Yeah,
what the hell they called them at the time, but yes.
that
Um,
I always find
so at
efforts like that among academics just the most hilarious because they're intelligent, but they're pretty much trolling to sort of prove a point.
yeah,
So the hoax
and
papers,
that seemed like extremely dark comedy as well, but it seemed like it was in the same vein as that art.
A Modest
Sorry, do you remember
Proposal.
what year? Yeah, what
Oh
year A Modest
God, that
Proposal
was
was
like
from?
it was like the 1800, the 19th century,
Yeah,
I believe. It's like a
I,
century
I believe
ago.
so too. I knew it wasn't like recent, but it's like, okay, so this brand of comedy has been around for quite a while. This,
Uh,
uh,
we're not going to get any
sorry, I was
drama in
looking at your
here
comments.
tonight. Maybe another time. You
Oh, there's going to be some drama, but
know this guy
no,
here. Nope, no femboys. They're not going to come around here. They're scared of me. So we're just going to have a debate about comedy and maybe even satire, maybe even trolling, because trolling is almost
so
art form
that's the thing.
nowadays.
Like, so it is an amazing form of trolling. So the Modest Proposal. So even the title of it, like, it's just a modest proposal
Yeah,
to
it's
eat
nothing,
babies
just
as
a
a
little
solution
plan.
to all of our problems. It's an amazing troll, and like just the detail that went into it, the time, the wording choice, it was just amazing. And I haven't seen a troll like that hard for so long.
Most
When you do
successful
bring
troll,
up,
I think.
well, yes, for sure. It's definitely stood the test of time. But when you look at the, I want to say they were calling it like the Wokel. But anyway, the Peter Boghossian, James Lindsay, Helen Pluckrose, the fake papers that they sent to a bunch of different publications, the fake studies. Wow, like that is also a giant troll job. Like it is just amazing. And the fact that a good deal of them were published, it's, a crazy amount of trolling, but it's trolling for a reason. It actually shows you the absurdity that is reality, that is some of these proposals. I don't know. I really, really enjoyed their case of it.
Okay, grievance
I guess there
studies
are.
affair.
Thank you. Grievance studies is what they ended up calling it. Thank
Beautiful,
you.
Michael.
I think So Cool Hoax was the first one that they kind of based the idea on. But yes, you're right.
I looked it up. Okay,
Yes.
so I cheated.
My memory is not what it used to be. But yeah, it is just awesome, those grievance studies papers. I don't know. To me, that would be more comedy than what I'm getting from like a Hannah Gadsby special. At least they know the absurdity in there that it is a joke. Like if you do take it at face value, it is hilarious. I don't know. I don't get what's so hilarious about saying like you are responsible for me being assaulted. I don't know. That's just it's not funny to me. So I don't know. It really changes. Comedy, but we've had that modest proposal since at least like the 1800s. I can't imagine, that was the first of its kind. I'm sure it was based on something, which was based on something. It seems like this sort of trolling has been around for quite a long time and is kind of a necessary part to expose some of the absurdities that we're taking as standard.
Yeah, when reality meets insane standards and people want incredible results from people, that's when you get the beauty of the absurd. And it's sort of something I sort of go with. This is why YouTube, a lot of the commentary bros and a few girls, I'm sure there's a few girls, most of them are trans females doing the commentary stuff, and they try to do a lot of satire in that genre. So another reason I sort of wanted to cover this. That is quite interesting. Good interaction in chat, guys. But yeah,
well, if he is a troll, he is the most based troll.
Yep.
Oh, Trailer Park Boys. So do you like any weird, like...
I like Crank Yankers over Trailer Park Boys. Crank Yankers was a great idea.
So much different, though. Like, Crank Yankers, you're actually, like, fucking with somebody. I don't know. Just Trailer Park Boys, that's just
like the prank
these, like...
invasion stuff. That was like the predecessor to all the prank channels on YouTube that got... those were horrible. Yeah, common people should not do
like
pranks.
Crank Yankers is essentially like Jerky Boys done. Like, I don't know, they're just doing voices and fucking with people. Trailer Park Boys is art, sir.
You think so?
You don't get characters like Bo Bandy. You don't get Mr. Leahy. My God, that guy was such an acclaimed actor. They are so lucky that they had Leahy on that show. Yeah, I don't know. So that type of thing, that's not your cup of tea.
I'll go with Mystery
kind of in front
Stranger.
Of a live audience.
I got Mystery Stranger. This is probably why I like the Mighty Boosh because I was talking with Gray a little bit before about the Adult Swim lineup. I'm like, please, can you explain the appeal of Tim and Eric? Were you a fan? He's like, were you on drugs a lot? I'm like, not really.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why you're missing.
Drugs? Because it really helps with the Tim and Eric stuff. But I am a huge fan of Tim and Eric. I love Tom Goes to Mayor, which was the predecessor, and then Tim and Eric, awesome show. Great job.
I could still like some stuff on Adult Swim even without drugs, like freaking Aqua Team Hunger Force.
Yeah, you can like some of it, but you really
Squidbillies.
get to enjoy it when you have the chemical aid, if you will. It really helps you focus.
Depends on the drugs, uppers, downers, or hallucinogens.
Talking about so I usually like I guess it would be,
hey, don't out yourself as
hallucinogens.
Shouldn't out yourself.
So I'm just talking weed, but
okay.
Yeah, so it really helps. You really get into the characters, you get the motivation, you can really get their feelings. Yeah, so Mystery Stranger was mentioning like British comedies. So did you go into like any of the British like sketch shows?
Of course,
or anything?
Monty Python, almost everything they did.
So of course there's like the classics, but like did you ever see like Man Stroke Woman or shit, there's a whole bunch of them that like Nick Frost was in.
Yeah, a couple of I went back to a couple of them,
really
like
cool
the apartment one, a little bit too dry for me. Big lover of Shaun of the Dead, but as I said, I love parodies. Even though Shaun of the Dead was not technically a parody, it sort of had the humor with the zombie genre, which it was sort of dying out by that time. Just like they started him off, and it's a zombie thing.
Okay.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. Oh, I love Shaun of the Dead. I pretty much love everything that Edgar Wright has done. So I see Patrick brought up like Mr. Bean and stuff.
Yeah.
So is
Mr.
that
Bean,
like your type of comedy?
Mr. Bean wasn't quite as like Doc Mark. Some of it was a little bit too dry for me. Big fan of Doctor Who. I wouldn't say that's strictly comedy, but I also like blends of
it's got some
comedy.
comedy in there, though.
Yeah,
It's
Doctor
definitely got some
Who
really good comedy in it.
has its moments because, hell, I almost thought about branding myself as a madman with a YouTube channel, but too cringe. There's some guy out there called the
Oh, that's
serial
for
who
others to
calls
brand you.
himself serial killer of YouTube. And then we have our favorite female and a waifu number one synthetic man. You gotta love some of these Brandon, some of these YouTubers do.
And again, are you calling for a recount on that? Because I mean, I know you came close. Like, she might have that title currently, but I mean, like, you should challenge.
No, I definitely shouldn't challenge. There's someone called Hypocrite Hunter. No, wait, that's not synthetic man. Kim Josh Ung's done a ton of videos on probably why they interact so much and get along is because Kim Josh Ung. But what? We're getting off of comedy. We're getting there too soon with the satire. Okay. We're getting back into that. But yeah, that autistic group. I try to stay away from those people, Gray. You try to pull me back just because I bring up the Brandon of YouTubers. I see how it is. You're trying to get me in drama, Gray. Aren't you?
I'm just pointing out the drama you live in.
I don't live in it. I analyze videos in a comical fashion, even if people don't get my comedy style. But I have a very dry British satirical take on a lot of things. And hell, going over you watch too many what's his name? Actual fandom, Dane or Bob, and you sort of lose your sense of humor. I don't know how you can still have one and all. You and Patrick have them in these videos. That just drains me. I'm
it's
like,
gallows humor. You got to laugh, otherwise it would make you cry.
yeah, I sort of rant on that, man. I go on my rants when I did my one video on Dane. Too much for me. I don't know how you keep going with that, but it's all fun and
I've
games
only made
until
one real one
loses
on
out.
him. The rest of it has all been responses to their responses, and we have a back and forth. We're giving each other content. But yeah, there is one that's kind of more of a backstory on Patrick that we're going to do in the future. Cool. So that'll be kind of a second. But yeah, most of mine isn't about him. It's kind of a response to him.
In a comedic fashion, so he shouldn't take it so hard. Andrew's more analytical. You're more, look at what the jackass is doing. Is my take on that. Am I straw manning your sort of coverage?
I'll accept it. I will accept your observation. Yeah, you're pretty much right. I like to document the absurd. That's what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah, I do that. I also do that too, but with other people.
Won't keep my name out of his mouth.
Yeah, I understand. I get passive aggressive mentions here and there, probably in their discords. Who knows? But let's get back on track, Gray. Okay. We're going to lose everyone talking about this drama when we're supposed to be talking about comedy, SNL. I'm not going to really show these videos, but I do want to use them as reference. Like, after thinking about this, how Dear Sister changed comedy. What do you think about that idea?
I don't know.
There's the good old Tim and Eric.
I'm not sure how it necessarily changed.
Well, he uses, this is sort of a parody skit that, yeah, he's calling himself pretentious. This might actually be a little bit satirical of a video and all. He's like, I'm pretentious, but I really think that there's one skit that really changed things. And I sort of call bullshit on that. I mean, I appreciate the effort. I really did like this little musical skit.
Yeah.
Lonely. I
remember it, but I don't know that it forever changed comedy. Like, for some reason, I did not watch this particular one. So I would like to see their argument for it.
Okay.
But,
let's actually go over it.
I can't see that changing the face of comedy.
After his little pretentious joke, let's listen to a bit of it and see what we think of this. I wasn't planning on, but I like to have some visuals. So let's give it a go.
And that piece of comedy is the SNL digital short Dear Sister. Do I even need to introduce this thing? Before becoming what is, in my opinion, one of the most influential pieces of comedy of the 21st century, Dear Sister started as a viral, universally loved digital short on SNL. It starred Andy Samberg, Bill Hader, Shia LaBeouf, and more. If you somehow don't know what...
that reminds me of the Shia LaBeouf. Didn't they have a Shia LaBeouf cannibal thing. That was actually probably better. Ever see that, Gray? Oh,
I
me
don't
too.
remember the cannibal thing.
I'll
I
have to
do
look that
remember
up
the
later.
Shia LaBeouf music video thing. That was always amazing. But yeah,
I'll have to look that up after
Yeah.
this. But yeah, he really places a lot of emphasis on this changing comedy. Although I like the springboard, I think he's incorrect with Dear Sister. I like the attempt. I like the actors.
yeah, I like all of them. I remember the sketch. I just don't know what he's claiming it changed, like in comedy after this.
He has a whole big argument. Well, not too big. It's only 7 minutes long. So I might as well take
Fair
a look at some of his arguments.
What it is, it's a 4-minute short film where one person shoots another person and another person shoots another person, and you get the gist. But boiled down, it's a parody of a scene from The OC that utilizes the song Hide and Seek by Imogen Heap as the punchline. It premiered in 2007 when SNL was still relatively new to the digital short segment, and it had quite the impact. One major thing to take into consideration is that release year, 2007, a year that is pretty critical in regards to this short's success. This was the year YouTube became a thing. Much of what made Dear Sister such a hit was how easy it was to share. I mean, if you look at some of the other viral videos from that time, this thing lines.
Yeah, I really think his argument's a little weak. I mean,
I don't know. Like, so did the He-Man thing change the face of comedy forever? Like, I can also remember that entire He-Man video. The
yeah, it's a good meme. I don't even think Dear Sister ranks with that. And also the Tommy
it took me a minute to
thing.
Place it until I saw that frame of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that thing. So I don't know. It doesn't jog my memory. Where if you said, "Hey, do you remember He-Man singing the?" Now I can't even think of the name of that song, but I could sing the song. I don't want to do it right now.
Please do, Greg.
You know, like that one. That one definitely sticks with me and like immediately comes to mind.
Just the imagery alone is worth a million words.
And I think that changed meme culture, which did change comedy in the 21st century. So I don't know.
I think it has more this. You're absolutely right. This He-Man sort of viral thing of this era has more memeability, which can be adapted to different points. Like some of these memes, like the black guy with the confused look on his face, or actually probably the better one is two better ones is definitely the astronauts pointing guns at everyone, and also the guy looking back at that one girl who's passing with his girlfriend. That's been infinitely adapted for memeability.
Yeah.
Same thing with
this. Two Spider-Mans pointing at each other. There's so many of them that are just, you just put a label on them and suddenly you've got a new brand of comedy. I don't know. It's, I guess, lazy, but it's quick. Like, I don't know how comedy was necessarily shared in like the 1700s. I'm sure it was more like jokes, limericks. Maybe you'd have a printed leaflet or something, but I mean, like, come on, their meme game had to suck back in the day.
Imagine a modest proposal being handed out to the people in that town, in an Irish town. Here. Yeah. Listen, what? Eat all babies? Is they goddamn bloody mad? Ugh.
And there had to be some people who take it seriously.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, it takes a good like, so I think it's like a 20-minute audiobook. It takes a good like 5 minutes to get into the whole eating babies thing. It just kind of mentions the problems, what we could do to make a solution.
And slips it in like it's completely natural to do it. Like, this is the logical step.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's so, I don't know. I guess I really like the whole meme culture that we have going now. I feel like jokes are just so much easier to share and so much quicker.
I do like it in one way, but I
of
think it sort of degrades conversations between like the people were making fun of the Fine Brothers for a while because they tried to copyright the React. And Dolan.
But think of the shorthand. You can just like stand there with your friend and say stonks, and then you both laugh because you know stonks.
But
I don't know. I think there's definitely some utility to memes, and I think sometimes nothing hits harder than just an image. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. But
well, obviously for visual memes, if you don't need to know it to actually see it, but there's some. I have some friends or had some friends, don't talk to them much nowadays. we didn't talk a lot when we get together. They would make these weird, obscure jokes, which is references to pretty much stuff that maybe I haven't seen or don't care about because we've been apart as adults. We get back together and they talk more with each other. So they make these weird little jokes, and I try to make just wordplay jokes, and they're like you're such a buzzkill. I'm like, I don't understand your joke. I don't know what you're talking about in this case. So what the hell? It just sort of, I understand what you mean when you say references sort of make it easy. And there's some things that are just easily identifiable with certain. I think that's what makes the greatest memes is something that doesn't need context to preface your understanding. Easy to understand memes like
I think
the guy
so.
passing and the guy Spider-Man meme, the astronauts pointing guns at each other, all understandable. When it comes to direct references you need to have knowledge of, I think that's something that derived from the sort of millennial, I believe it's a millennial thing that has been passed on to the poor Zoomers. Sorry, I guess I technically count as a millennial. Disappoints me sometimes that my generation, so to speak, has passed on such toxic cancer. But you know, you got to live with the guilt of your generational guilt. At least I don't have to live with the generational guilt of the Germans in World War II. So some bad.
It could be worse.
Could be worse. But yeah, that was definitely a good point out of this being something that's just recognizable and much more impactful than Dear Sister. But we cut him off because we're horrible.
Heads Up as being a simple concept comedy short using an internet reference as a gag. It's that lo-fi aesthetic of the short that makes it so appealing compared to most of the shorts you see on SNL today. Akiva Schaffer, a member of the Lonely...
Yeah, compared to some of the shorts of the sketches on Comedy Central today. Gray, do you watch SNL enough to know how badly it has been going? Because I just gave up after some time. I'm like,
I don't watch it regularly by any means. I also have given up on it. Every once in a while, like if I hear there's like a controversial skit or something, I will kind of watch it and kind of watch a few of them. It really seems like it went downhill hard. I don't know. I definitely haven't been like an avid fan in over a decade, but
do you think they?
I do catch it here and there.
Do you think they went with a very niche audience, like a very political leaning or something like that, because of the competition of the internet? Do you think that has factored in?
So I'm not sure that it was that. That definitely could be a factor. I think it's kind of more, the whole Trump thing broke everybody. And it seems like with at least everything mainstream, you kind of had to choose a side back then. And, it does seem like everyone kind of chose the anti-Trump side. So they had to kind of jump on board. I don't know. It seemed really partisan. And then, with...
Yeah, and they praised Obama so much. Obama is the only president who ever got a pass. They made fun of him, so to speak. I think I saw one skit where he hulked out. It wasn't really making fun of him. Almost every president before that got made fun of.
Yeah,
and
I mean, the Clinton ones were kind
of
fun. So they did make fun of Clinton. He would go jogging and then went to McDonald's and would eat burgers and stuff. But it still seemed to, call him cool and stuff. Like out of nowhere, he would just bust out his sax and women would be at his feet. I don't know. Like it seemed kind of fun. It didn't seem like they were calling him an idiot. Where then, they Bush
sort of
came
were.
in and definitely, and then
but they made
Trump,
fun of Bush more. But I can understand making fun of Bush more than Clinton. Clinton was sleazy sort of, let me bust out my saxophone and wow the people. He was a cool guy.
And fun to make that character, too. Why wouldn't you want the cool guy with the saxophone as a character? Like, that would be amazing to play that. Like, let me just bust out the sax. For sure.
Yeah, and Trump sort of
they are definitely different people.
Trump sort of broke South Park as well because they just did not expect it.
They got back to it like a lot. You're right. I don't think anyone expected it. I remember I happened to be like working overnights that particular night and just like watching people break down, like just investing so much into it. It was just crazy. Like they hadn't necessarily declared it until the next morning, but yeah, just watching people over that night just completely like melt down was I don't know. It was interesting, but the one thing that I will give South Park credit for is it might have broken them. They didn't expect it, but I think they got back real quick. I don't know. I think they maintained a lot of consistency. I haven't watched this season like at all, but everything I had seen up until this season is still pretty spot on. Like those guys are amazing.
Yeah, but they went with Randy. I think they tried because they were getting older. They were more attracted to Randy, but it really just didn't work. I think they're getting back from what I hear. I don't know where to even find it now.
I don't know, man. I liked the integrity thing, but
I liked it as a quick gimmick, but it became the fucking focus. Okay, I sort of like the token thing, making fun of the token. It was really tied into the culture. I always thought his name was Token, like Token Black Guy. They really played well with that.
Wow, that is really, really biased of you. Dude, his name is Tolkien.
Exactly. That was beautiful. That was
on.
Perfect timing to bring Token and that thing. And I'm sort of disappointed that they sort of retracted the man bear pig thing because Al Gore was wrong with his documentary and they're sort of trying to.
Have you seen a polar bear? I haven't seen one lately. Perhaps he is right.
Okay, maybe. Okay. But yeah, I really think we're talking about comedy. Oh, God. Let's not get political with that sort of stuff. But yeah, the man big bear pig was hilarious. And they sort of retracted that. Seems a little lame to me.
Yeah.
They need to go back to dressing in drag on acid, going down.
A lot of people were using it to say that there's no climate change whatsoever.
That's also
I think
bullshit.
They kind of thought like,
yeah, maybe they were talking about how it was
what
used.
We're saying.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, let's not even get into the rise.
I think that's kind of why they a little bit changed it. But
let's not even get into the rise and fall of Rick and Morty. I mean, it was passable in the beginning. I could get on board with it, but shit like that can only last so long. You can only get. That was destined to fail no matter what. Even without Justin Roiland getting embroiled in something that he's cleared of, but people are still going to judge him for it because that's our society.
He's only so cleared of it. He still set the texts, which are
it is a crime
to underage people.
Oh, it is.
And they were sort of offensive, and I like offensive comedy, but yeah, it's definitely not something that I would ever send to a minor.
Yeah, maybe he didn't. No, let's not defend him at all.
But yeah, as for like the
maybe
assault
it's a
thing
joke.
he actually got fired for, that apparently was all drugs.
You think you can actually defend someone just as a joke? Defend something completely ridiculous, like just as a joke and get away with it. But I think things are too serious. Like you don't jokingly defend. Like maybe Mr. Girl is just joking this whole time about and Sneeko all just defending about cuties. It's just a joke, bro. A joke that went on a few years.
Could you defend Ye as he was just joking?
Oh,
it was all just a joke.
Obviously.
I don't know. I think there is definitely a line that you can't cross. Like I couldn't see defending Cosby and saying like that was just a joke.
Well, time and place.
I don't know, man.
I could defend
like
Cosby, but I would actually have to write that out and test it out before even. I would not want to ad lib a defense of any of these people, but the joke can be made.
Yeah.
Like Gilbert Gottfried got shitted on.
I bet you
had a roast for something.
I bet you the lawyers do have a sense of humor, and I bet you they do have gallows humor for sure. Yeah, I would have to think that OJ's lawyers were kind of laughing, but
I'm not saying
maybe I'm wrong.
Lawyers should start comedy bits as a defense. I'm saying just comedically, but I'm just testing the line here. Like jokingly defend all these horrible people like Cosby and other people jokingly like Chappelle makes fun of R. Kelly all the time in a very joking manner. He almost puts up a defense for R. Kelly in a very joking manner.
Well, I don't know. Like, so I understand it's not comedy, but like Michael Jackson, I have no problem with listening to a Michael Jackson song.
What about Weird
Al? I would have
Al?
a hard time
Okay,
defending him.
I don't mean to diverge too much, but you bring Michael Jackson up. Weird Al got famous off of parody, and I don't agree with Mr. Stranger. Was She-Hulk even a comedy? Cringe comedy with the twerking, I guess. But Pickle Rick, ooh, both bad times, especially with the therapist scene. But yeah, I was going someplace with this. Weird Al. Well, that's probably because of the Adam and Stitch community ties and everyone agreeing Adam's take on Weird Al is the worst.
Indeed. He is hilarious and a national treasure. And, perhaps the most...
No accusations, ape-based life. Weird Al never touched children, except for in their hearts, and affected them with horrible, horrible cringe, like White and Nerdy.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm going into weird directions. I'm trying to integrate some of the stuff I see in chat, and it's probably throwing us off our groove. Sorry, Gray.
Yeah, I was looking at the Pickle Rick comments. So yeah, that showrunner is responsible for the Pickle Rick episode as well. I think there's a reason why it was the meme that is the greatest bit of comedy ever.
The guy go. I think actually
and then he becomes a pickle.
I actually think the Szechuan sauce was actually hilarious. The videos of the one guy. I mean, it must have been horrible for the people at that McDonald's when they ran out of the Szechuan sauce. But it reminds me of some Beavis and Butthead. I want TP from my bum hole. Another brand of humor.
Yeah, but that show didn't cause people to, wait hours for TP. Where somehow Szechuan sauce, like. I remember driving by a McDonald's and just seeing like literally a line around the block, and it's just like, why are you guys waiting for some crappy McDonald's sauce? But anyway,
for the memes.
That's again comedy having some good effect on popular culture. For the memes alone.
That would be an example of comedy having a negative effect on society.
I don't know. It brought back Szechuan sauce. Do you enjoy Szechuan peppercorns? It gives your mouth a certain zing.
Nothing McDonald's is exceptional.
Exhilarating, if you will.
I mean, good on them that they managed to make some profit off of that and fucked it up royally. It is comical that the Szechuan sauce from Rick and Morty's decline. I'm not saying that. I think that was the best episode in that season. There might have been a couple of other good ones in the third one, but that's a matter of opinion here. This Grey Poupon has a good idea. We need to debate She-Hulk. Probably with Patrick, because he's probably the only one who's willing to defend that. Sometimes it's good to have...
It did give him hours of joy. So much joy.
Yeah, I dropped it quickly, so I can't comment on it. I can't debate it, even from a cringe
We're not going to debate it. We have a future show coming out called It Can't Be All Bad, and we are going to explore She-Hulk amongst other
I'm wondering if we're ever going to do our Jar Jar Binks versus Scrappy Doo.
Oh, I'm down whenever you want to do this. I will champion Jar Jar is so much better than Scrappy Doo. Scrappy Doo is the worst character ever committed to celluloid. He is an abomination and should be strucken from this earth.
But a hero to a whole bunch of ADHD children back in the day. Okay, let's not do that now. Because we're talking about comedy and a debate of that absurdity might be funny, but I didn't plan for it. But yeah, Dear Sister changed comedy. Let's continue this.
Okay.
I don't think this is great. I just like some of the ideas it brings out. And I do like...
No, I would just like to know the argument, because I don't know how it changed it. Like, we had comedy before that. I think I could come up with an idea that's very similar to this. No, I understand, but I mean, like, so it's this digital short. It's shot more like a movie, but it's kind of like meme style. So I'd like to hear his argument because I can think of a couple other things that are similar to this.
Sorry to disappoint. I don't think he's going to have much of an argument, but let's see if you think you can find one in here.
The Island, an ex-writer for SNL, sums it up in a Huffington Post article when he said, "So it was definitely a last-minute short, and the reason it looks like it does is because that's just a hotel suite. When it gets to be Friday night and you haven't figured it out, then the only thing you can do is rent a hotel suite, grab some lights, and film in there. And so that's what it is, just a hotel room and some lights. Because of this simplicity, people replicated it. There were countless remakes on YouTube to different TV scenes poking fun at the same trope. The very fact that the short was so influential led to controversy, as its popularity happened around the same time as the Virginia Tech shootings. Fans of the short continued to replicate and worship it amidst the tragedy, leading to a negative piece regarding the short from New York Times writer Noam Cohen. But I don't see any of this as a true reason for why this short nowadays is looked at as such an important piece of media."
Why then bring it up? Yes, you can say it was easy to replicate, and that's why it got within the culture, but does it have a lasting effect still? I mean, how long? It doesn't really make the argument.
I remember it, but it took some jogging in my memory. But yeah.
I mean, let me see when this was put out. This might be 3 years ago. So
2020, we're in the height of the pandemic, the pandy, if you will.
Maybe just looking back and figuring out how comedy changed. I mean, he makes some decent points in this, but overall, I'm not buying it completely, but I do like what he says and hate what he says about parodies.
I think the main reason it's something I look back at and appreciate is the fact that it feels ahead of its time. For 2007, this feels like something you'd see on Adult Swim in 2015. While many achieved the same, no comedic short captured what was one of the first representations.
Yeah, this is something I'll stand by more. I think I even have this in the playlist. Too Many Cooks.
I love Too Many Cooks. That song has been stuck in my head for God, when was it? It's been stuck in my head since it came out. I don't even know. Is it a decade now? It feels like that. Wow. But yeah, I just love that. It's like burned into my head when it turns and it suddenly becomes the dark Too Many Cooks. It's just so good.
Probably just feels to us.
I love this sort of weird, absurd humor. And that's why I was wondering if you looked at a lot of the British shows, because like a lot of British sketches seem to kind of go that weird way to me. They kind of hit in that same way.
Yeah, as I said, Monty Python, even Benny Hill's sort of hit or miss. It's sort of cringe, but it's got its value. A little bit too much sexual stuff, it seems a little odd and you have to question it, but you know what?
It was a different time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate. We're gonna get into Death Author hopefully sometime, and I'm sure who was that racist Cthulhu Lovecraft. I'm sure that issue is gonna get brought up. So let's not rehash it here.
Of millennial comedy the way Dear Sister did. While Cohen's central issue with the short was its influence, it's safe to say based on the article that Cohen is one example out of the thousands of older viewers who don't necessarily understand the appeal of this short. But as someone who does clearly appreciate it, I don't blame them. Much of the appeal of quote-unquote millennial comedy is the lack of understanding that comes with consuming it. This short fits within the same brand as something like Eric Andre, Tim and Eric.
Okay. Your lack of understanding.
So, it's absurd comedy. But other than that, I don't know.
Is the lack of understanding going to be critical for it? I think, given some depth, I mean, even I can find something like "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" more comical than Tim and Eric, and even Dear Sister. I mean, yeah, it's cute. Yeah. It's sort of funny.
It's going to be personal taste, though, for sure. So I really do like Tim and Eric. Awesome show. Great job.
But you were saying drugs helps with that.
It does. It makes me really enhance the experience, if you will. It becomes more of, I don't know, a sensory experience. And Sam Hyde's show was super weird. I totally forget what that one was called. It was like $1 Million Extreme or something. That one was weird as hell. I did like that one. Yeah.
Fine. I think all this short form content sort of creating certain expectations with comedy. And it's not necessarily wrong. There's some things that work quicker. I've done some really short pieces. Probably a lot of my better pieces are under a minute, and I turn most of those into shorts. But yeah, there's some things that quickly, and I think the problem with Dear Sister is it's too long. It sort of overstays its welcome and doesn't have, I don't know. I just think this is a bad example, but his argument is quite interesting. And Tim and Herrick, oh God. Sorry, we'll never understand it.
Hey man, I'm a fan. Like, it taught me a lot about weird editing and stuff. It revitalized Bob Odenkirk's career. It was kind of going downhill. That's the last thing I remember him in before like he showed up as Saul Goodman. I don't know. It's just such a great show. I don't. So did you like Tom Goes to Mayor at all?
Oh hell no. I mean, I like Tim and Eric's show better than Tom. Tom Goes to Mayor was just something I couldn't take. As I said, I liked a lot of that stuff, like Squidbillies. It was just a whole bunch of rednecks, sort of like Sam Hyde and Squid Form. Sam Hyde definitely super troll.
Sam Hyde was so much different.
Energy. And you don't know if he's really insane. I don't think he's insane, but I think he plays an insane man for his skit really well. And I've always sort of figured iDubbbz was a cuck, but I even have a video of mine in this playlist, which we probably won't get into, where I sort of mocked everyone praising iDubbbz back in the day.
So do you like that kind of comedy then? So like like the iDubbbz, the Filthy Frank, because I think that kind of comes from, so not necessarily is inspired by like the Tim and Eric style or Eric Andre, but I think it kind of comes from that like over the top.
See, I can get into Filthy Frank, okay? His purple guy, a lot of like, even though I'm considered an anime fan, I thought his freaking little weeb thing, his little weeb rant was brilliant. And especially since it baited some anime guy with no shirt, Double Day Anime, to sort of react and freak out to it. But that's sort of the internet for you. The React culture, I think, is a little bit smart and a little bit dumb sometimes. Depends on how you play off of it. But yeah, that was, I mean, as I said, anime fan, but I'm like, this is just hilarious. He's just going off on this shit. Anyone who takes it seriously, oh, look, this dude took it seriously. Oh, I'm probably got a little bit of troll in me. You got to laugh at yourself and your own hobbies and your own stupidity sometimes in this case. But yeah, iDubbbz never like the bad unboxing. Best thing he did was Content Cop, and even that was a little weak, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, he's still kind of remembered for like the memes and stuff, like the green suit jumping down.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. I still see that popping up all the time. That
was probably the best thing iDubbbz has ever done, and that's very sad. Sorry, jumping off the counter and going. Looking up at the camera, I'm gay. Best thing iDubbbz has ever.
You're not a fan of the creator clash, then? No. You don't like YouTubers boxing?
No, I hear they lost money, so no charity money for them. All because iDubbbz couldn't take a joke from Froggy Fresh, and that is just ridiculous. These former edgy people who got popular off of their edgy humor are all just calming down. I don't blame Filthy Frank, okay? I think he's a smart man. He explains why he moved on from the Filthy Frank persona. We'll be getting into that with the YouTube censorship of certain people. Oh, don't even bring up Rice Gum. He was never funny. The only funny thing, the Asian Jake Paul. That was a good joke by iDubbbz. Doing the Jake Paul and the Asian Jake Paul. That was the best thing about that video, because frankly, roasting Rice Gum does not take too much effort, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about him other than just like content houses and stuff, always showing off everything.
It's best you don't.
Yeah, that was not my niche of YouTube, but yeah, surprisingly, he always came up.
Yeah, sadly enough.
Eric, certain episodes of Rick and Morty, and a lot of the humor you'd find on the internet. It's humor not meant to be discussed or understood. It's just funny because it's funny. So rather than trying to understand something that's not meant to be understood.
See, I think I'm sorry for pausing him everything. He just, every time he says it's not meant to be understood, but it's funny as hell to theorize and discuss this sort of stuff. Like, yeah, they were in a cult. The sister was the idol worshiper. You ever see VCR? I think one of them. There was a whole bunch of shorts. There was like one short with like a little child. It was like some weird cult, and they came in and everyone was dying over this baby that was being born. You can theorize something like that. I did a parody comedy video about someone who was supposedly being stalked, and I tried to bring Slender Man into it. Everyone was like, is she being abused, held? So I did a parody commentary about Slender Man stalking her and harassing her. So I used to do satire more seriously.
Serious satire?
Serious satire. Now I just have a satirical edge, or try to keep it. Frankly, covering people like Dane and Bob is sort of sapping that out of me. I need to get into more stupid. I need to start covering more stupid people. Okay,
come on, man.
Stupid, fun people.
Just look at the bright side of life. Take the white.
I do.
Great.
I need to find.
Everything is great. There is so much more to laugh at today than we would have been able to laugh at 50 years ago.
Exactly. So many stupid people online. Even Acer Thorn is hilarious to laugh at, even though he's suing a whole bunch of people. It's probably going to be a failure. It's a little sad for idiotic people like that. You know what I mean? You don't know who I'm talking about. It's probably better you don't. You know who Quantum TV even is? He's the little cow for a lot of people. So. Good for you, Gray. Good for you. Too many people have made too many careers off of that piece of shit. Them making fun of him. Ackman, stuff like that. And since I derailed this, let me just play this and hopefully get us back on track.
Understood. It's a better use of time to understand why rather than how Dear Sister is that first piece of millennial comedy. But to understand that, you really have to understand what millennial comedy is. Rachel Rosd, a writer for The Guardian, puts it nicely in this article that tackles the subject when she writes, "One explanation for all this unrealism is that it's a response to a world that has stopped making sense. Philosophical absurdism argues that the universe is inherently irrational, a perspective rendered particularly apt by the unpredictable political developments of the past few years."
I don't think these people really understand absurdism. It's not just accepting the world is absurd. It's sort of going off of crazy premises. In my personal
you mean something like perhaps the solution to all of our problems is eating babies?
Yeah,
seems a little absurd to me.
It's absurd. It might actually even work if you had absolutely no ethics, in theory at least.
Well, it does seem like yes.
I think the beauty. I think the beauty of absurdism isn't the fact that, it makes fun of the meaningless things in life, but someone who can truly embrace the absurd can actually find a way to twist things to make that absurd make some sort of laughable sense in a stupid way. But maybe I'm getting too serious with my absurdness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So I did like the Tim and Eric show. It was oftentimes just absurd for the sake of being absurd. Like it didn't make sense,
like it.
And it wasn't supposed to. So I don't know. I don't know that it necessarily needs that, but
like Eric Andre was something I could get into more, which was in the same veins, but you sort of could
like
create
the
a
crazy
story
openings
back
and like
behind
crazy. The crazy openings and like the crazy, just like man on the street sketches, or if you even call them that, where he kind of pranks people, but it's more just pranking himself. I don't know. You can find that funny, but not like Tim and Eric. That seems odd to me.
No, I
Is it
mean,
just, like,
maybe
the
it's
bright
odd.
flashing lights and like the editing, or
I think
is
it's
there
just
something
the
off-putting about Tim and
aggressiveness,
Eric?
the style. He had a certain style, a certain anger. There were some tropes in it that kept it. Maybe it's just rules. I'm a big rule person, and Eric Andre, even though it was absurdism, it followed certain rules. It usually deviated from very heavily. Tim and Eric was just random nonsense that
there was
I
certainly a
couldn't keep
lot of
track of.
randomness put in there.
And
Did
some of the
you
show
ever
stuff.
watch Mr. Show back in the day?
Yeah, Mr. Show. Not the biggest fan, but I could appreciate in concept.
Oh, it is just so hilarious. Even like the opening sketch, the change for $1 thing is just so amazing. So I'm a huge fan of that. I don't know. It feels like they had like the weird absurdist and just randomness in there. Just what Tim and Eric kind of brought was kind of more randomness and a lot of like really fast editing with how they presented it. Because I don't know, even Tom Goes to Mayor doesn't have like that same type of like just crazy editing.
Oh, that was just depressing to me. Always the kids. that was mainly just the fat, ugly wife with all the stepchildren. See, like I can't enjoy Archer. It's a personal thing. For
Archer
me.
is amazing, man.
But
so granted, I haven't seen the most recent season, and the one before that I wasn't the most.
Sorry,
but H. John Benjamin is so great, man.
You know he's a communist.
I
right?
could care less. I can separate the art from the artist.
Sorry, yeah.
He has an amazing voice, and that character is just amazing.
Also,
even if it is the exact same voice as Bob from Bob's Burgers.
I don't know.
Archer
Bob's
is just a
Burgers,
classic, man.
also something I couldn't get into. So, see, this man, Super Jail was much funnier to me. I absolutely agree with that. A lot of those sketches, I mean, it was just always had the same plan. There was always something crazy going on.
For both, man.
I mean,
there is Super Jail has its place.
So, what do you think is the thing? Like, sometimes it's just horrible people being like Archer. I couldn't get into that character. What was it? Killface? There was one that was very similar with like the superhero thing, like the rich guy trying to be a superhero, but he was a douche. Pretty much Archer as a superhero, but they had Killface was really the selling point. It might have been Killface or something. Been so long. That. But yeah, it was very similar. It might have been even made. Also, like, let's not get into all this. I don't want to divide about our personal opinions on this. We're trying to find sort of truth.
I'm just trying to pinpoint like what your brand of comedy, like what you would dig. Frisky Dingo. I haven't thought of that forever.
Frisky Dingo. Yes, thank you. Frisky Dingo. Love that show. It was very similar to Archer. So Archer, I think, was just
I liked Archer more.
Weird. What made you like Archer better over Frisky Dingo? I just like the back.
I absolutely hated it. I watched the first episode like twice. Like Comedy Central used to include, or not Comedy Central, Adult Swim used to include it with something else. I'm trying to remember what DVD I had. So like I watched it like 2 or 3 times and was just like, I absolutely hate this. And then somehow it's FX, isn't it? Sorry, it was included with some other DVD that I had. And then finally, I just like sat there and watched past that first episode, and it is just hilarious, man. The other one that was really hard for me to get into that's kind of along the same things, kind of throwback cartoony, is Venture Brothers. That thing also took me forever to get into, and then I'm just like obsessed with it, man. Venture Brothers is amazing.
Yeah.
Team Venture.
See, I'm getting a whole bunch. Metalocalypse was definitely Murderface.
So
maybe I would have had the same issue. Maybe if I would have kept up with Archer, I would have gotten into it. From what I know, conceptually, it seems interesting. It's just getting past the first few episodes that might be the problem. Maybe I should give it another time. But
it could be. The artwork is just like so beautiful. I love the way that they translate the weird character into like their Archer character. Everyone looks like themselves except for H. John Benjamin. Archer,
and he's
himself.
A communism. He's a communist, so who cares about representing him properly?
He might be a commie, but he's got a great voice and hilarious.
And he's using it for anti-PragerU videos. I wonder how the Gravel Institute's doing now.
And yeah,
that was
I have no clue. I haven't heard much about the Gravel Institute or Gravel or whatever, so I'm not thinking they're doing that great. But yeah, Mysterious Stranger points out that both the Venture Brothers and Metalocalypse movie are coming out.
Ooh, so, awesome!
You know, now's your time to get back into them because they're both going to kick ass.
Yeah,
man. I'm looking forward to both of those.
Dr. Girlfriend. There's actually a VTuber has the same thing going on with that person, but let's not get into that. VTubes.
Dr. Girlfriend?
Yeah, it's basically a hot girl with like a guy's voice.
Yeah, this voice. Yeah, no, I know.
There's a VTuber who does that.
Dr. Girlfriend. She's hot.
Okay. The voice. Oh, the voice.
Really love that approach. And to piggyback off of it, I think this style of comedy not only questions meaning, but it also questions necessity. The digital age, in my opinion, has brought in a sense of excess. Streaming services, online shopping, even pornography. Dear Sister came at a time where this rise of accessibility.
Okay, yeah, I will agree with that point. There is a credible amount of crap out there, and it makes finding good stuff even more hard, especially comedy. Probably why a lot of things are becoming niche and a lot of people are consolidating, I think. Yeah, I don't think there's.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. You could find any type of comedy that you want now.
I do think this is one of the better points of this video, but then he gets into the parody point, and I have problems with it.
Had its start. Having now grown into the norm, I think this newfound access has a lot to do with how society views humor. With access to pleasure at your fingertips, this lifestyle has questioned what gives us fulfillment. Much of the unknown is now known thanks to an excess of content, and with something as low stakes as the internet, humor is a part of that excess. The concept that anyone can share a piece of art is funny in itself. A guy microwaving bread to nobody isn't that funny, but somehow putting it on YouTube adds to the joke.
Yeah, I can sort of agree.
That is the entirety of the joke is the joke itself. This newfound access questions the necessity of the traditional punchline. When it costs nothing, you're able to produce comedy that's funny because of its existence rather than that punchline. This is why Dear Sister feels like not only a creative piece of traditional comedy, but a significant part of this new trend. It has a punchline, but half the joke isn't the actual punchline. It's the repetition. It's that lack of conclusion, something the writers were completely aware of when putting it together. That's the joke. In an article from the Washington Post addressing the same subject, Elizabeth Brunig writes, rather than trying to restore meaning and sense where they've gone missing, the style aims to play with the mood.
See, definitely this video's biggest flaw is to go to journalists for humor. Definitely a flaw there. Getting your humor advice from journalists.
Well, kind of the way that you ruin comedy is explaining what makes it funny. It's often a tactic that people use to kind of shout down comedy. Well, what about that is funny? No, break down that joke. What about that is funny? Tell me what is funny.
What's offensive about that?
It doesn't necessarily translate when you try to actually like break it down. Like, this is absurd. It changes. It subverts your expectations. I don't know. It just doesn't play the same as actually just hearing the joke. But yeah, Patrick does seem to have a point on this one.
Yeah, she does have wonky eyes. Googly eyes.
Moods and emotions of an illegible world. In a way, it's a digital update to the surreal and absurd genres of art and literature that characterize the tumultuous early 20th century. Dear Sister updates this genre by making comedy itself a victim of the joke. Even comedies from the 80s like The Naked Gun and Airplane have punchlines and embrace slapstick more than they do parody. You still get those repetitive, over-the-top gags that are just as funny, but at the end of the day, these are structured jokes compared to this. What I'm saying is this lack of a structure.
Yeah, that's what I disagree with. Given too much. I mean, yeah, he has a point, but saying slapstick is a setup, I think that's going a bit far. I mean, slapstick is something that can exist on its own. It's something like someone slipping on a freaking banana, okay? Or getting kicked in the balls. There was a whole Simpsons episode where the one video that won that video contest, the real winner, should I say, not the drunk guy from the Simpsons, I forget his Barney, won with his artsy piece. But it was really guy get hit in the ball with a football. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the how's
well, I mean, like, you could go even further back than that. Like, a lot of the Three Stooges was slapstick. A lot of that was
Buster
setting up the
Keaton,
joke. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So amazing.
silent
Buster
film
Keaton was
era
awesome
had
at
a
that.
lot of that, and I think him bringing up physical comedy and saying it had a punchline is sort of given this too much credit, because slapstick is
Yeah, for sure.
this is basically just an updated version of slapstick, and with a musical
seems like
cue to mock a really bad scene, I'm guessing, from the OC. So I'm sure if people love the scene, they might actually be outraged by this sort of parody. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. And I didn't even know that it was a parody back in the day. I just remember it for it. But
You didn't need the frame of reference, but people probably did. I think it was smart to set it up like this because you didn't need to know the reference to find this funny. It's just funnier if you know it's mocking some stupid CW show. It's like if we tried to mock like some of the stupid CW shows, superhero shows nowadays. But people like EFAP go through Batgirl and make fun of that. I haven't actually watched any of those because I understand the appeal of mocking bad shows like She-Hulk and Batgirl or Batwoman, whatever it was called on the CW. A lot of critiques of The Flash, which I always found to be a subpar show.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that movie. I was going to say, did you see it?
No, not The Flash, the TV show, CW show.
It seems to be...
that was...
fair enough. I did not watch that one. That looked a little bit...
sus.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, about his point about those old parodies, I really don't think... Some of them had setups, like good ones, like Spaceballs. The sort of Schwartz one, your Schwartz is as big as mine. Stuff like that.
Oh.
Of thought, of a concrete punchline, that is the short making fun of comedy. The pleasure comes from not only this clever approach to humor, but from this rejection of traditional comedic norms, especially in the entertainment industry where creativity needs to be pushed through so many doors before seeing an audience. It's no wonder someone like Filthy Frank, someone who defined more of the last decade than most would like to admit, also references this short in one of his albums. That character is also, in a sense, a poster child for this new wave of comedy. It's attempting to achieve the same thing by saying things on the internet, creating things on the internet, because he can. The punchline is simply the existence. It's a little dramatic to call a 4-minute short with barely any plot one of the most influential pieces of comedy of the last 20 years. But then again, it's those characteristics that makes this short just that defines what it means to create in the digital age. The bigger it gets, the funnier the very existence of this short becomes. To attempt to understand something not meant to be understood seems silly and contradictory, but with the rapid speed at which content is being produced and consumed today, it's worth slowing down and appreciating those works that make a difference. So with all that being said, thanks for watching. Check out this short and form your own.
Okay. I mean,
so it's just that it... yeah. All right. I just don't understand
I
how
told
it
you
directly impacted
it wasn't a good
anything
argument.
else. Fair enough.
But it definitely is interesting. And I'm just going to play the sort of skit. This is the N-word. Filthy Frank is trying to rap, and as he is about to say the N-word, he's getting stopped by the black guy. I'm just going to let this play. You don't mind, do you? Or is it going to be too distracting?
No, sorry. I was lost in Filthy Frank's eyes. But yeah, sorry, I'm back now.
Sexy man. This sort of meme with it's time to stop. I mean, a lot of good stuff came out of Filthy Frank.
Yeah, and go where you belong. Yeah, there's just like a lot of he's not wrong, but I don't know, like it might have changed some of what was popular like 10 years ago, but when's the last time you even saw like any of his memes being like used? Like, I don't know, it feels like it's been a long time for me. Like I feel like I haven't seen either Pinkman or like Filthy Frank in like, I don't know, 5 years.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm wrong.
They still occasionally do it. PewDiePie has a few things. See, memes just keep on trucking along.
Fair enough. I don't know. Oh, so good.
But comedy, we were getting into the weeds with comedy. I still want to continue this because we didn't really get into the satire of modern videos. I think that's really important to get to. I understand going from the sort of stand-up acts that existed in the past, then getting into sort of the present that we're going into, but I'm really not quite sure how to bridge the gap between past comedy and modern comedy. And might as well play a bit, at least from one of my own videos. I don't even know. I need to check if I'm disabled. Okay, Gray's back in. Hey, Gray. Too many cooks took me down, I'm guessing.
I don't know. Either that or it was, I guess everybody else was thinking it was the slurs, but I'm not sure.
Which slurs do we use?
It wasn't me. If I remember right, you just went on a tirade, and then all of a sudden everything just went black. So I don't know, man. I think it started when you were talking about the Greeks, but I could be wrong.
The Greeks and the orgies. Oh shit! Let me not get into that dirty talk again. Okay,
Yeah,
might get banned again. It
should
probably was too many cooks. The visual sort of got me killed, or maybe even the low music I put. Not gonna make that mistake again. Once you go black, you never go back, mystery stranger. I'm not racist. You gotta love the blacks.
Hey, it was a good thing it went black. Come on. Maybe that says more about
Yeah, I
you,
once had
Mystery
a
Stranger.
red door and I wanted it painted black. Let me not try to sing the Rolling Stones because I have a horrible ass voice. Okay, but yeah, we were sort of getting sidetracked with too many cooks. I was definitely distracting myself just by having that epic video playing. So I don't think everyone's source of humor, I mean, me and you, Gray, I think we align with some of the dark comedy aspects. We like a little bit of that dark in there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You were saying that you don't like the comedy, though. You don't like comedians that much. I like
Stand-up
really dark
comedians just
comedy.
lack something. I think you're just a simpler man, Gray. It's fine to have simple taste. I like more
Uh-huh.
meat on my bones. Okay, I like that
Okay.
plus size comedy. So I can dig my teeth in.
You can't understand the simple things in life. Okay.
I just don't like
Yeah, you need a
anorexic comedy.
storyteller.
It needs to be fulfilling.
Yeah, no, you like the filler. You like the stuff
don't like
that
comedy
takes
light
away
or
that
comedy
only
zero.
waters it down. No, I got you. You like watered down comedy. I like the distilled, concentrated, direct from the source thing. But to each their own.
But
That's
you're
just
twisting my
fine.
words. I'm saying you
Oh
are
no,
having the
we
zero.
were both twisting each other's words.
Okay, that's
it
fair
felt
enough.
like we took a
Not like
page out of the initiative's book there.
Yep.
But yeah,
We were
it's
both
getting
projecting,
petty
and the
in a good way.
projection was like bouncing back and forth.
Oh yeah. No, like I don't think stand up is necessarily a simpler form of comedy. Like there is complexity to it. Like you can have simple comedy, like somebody just comes out there and starts telling like street jokes, like jokes that everybody's heard. I don't know. I don't think you're going to get a smattering of applause from people. Like a lot of it is that performance aspect. It's going to feel like it is, coming off the top of their head. Like they're just talking to you. Like, you might actually know them and they're personable about it. It's not going to be,
What did I put up a
Maybe.
comment?
I don't, I haven't checked my inbox lately, but
Yeah, going with the initiative. Find Bob pretty. He does have those wonderful eyes. Can't blame you for that. Probably his only attractive trait. Those dreamy black hole eyes that just suck you in because there's just nothing going on inside that head. Okay,
I would definitely agree with that. There's not much going on.
better
there.
than the hell that probably is just in Dane's head. But let's not get too. We all love making fun of the initiative.
Getting back to the comedy, so you were kind of implying that you think stand up is simple.
It can be
man. There's so many
simple.
things to it.
And-
Like I think they make it look simple, and then that's the the showmanship and the amazingness of a true performer. But I don't know, man. Like, so you've performed in front of people. Like, have you ever just gotten up in front of people to tell jokes, like into a mic? Like,
No,
it's
stage
different.
play.
So I used to do like a lot of band stuff. So it's like, you're there with a mic, you're singing a song, you're doing something rehearsed. That's just fine. But like, I can't tell you how many times like a drummer broke a head or like a guitarist broke a string or something where it's like, guys, fill for like 2 minutes. So it's like you're just trying to come up with something. It's harder than you think.
Oh, I am sure.
I was not great at it, but I don't know. It is kind of trial by fire. It's not something that you can kind of practice in front of like a mirror. You do have to have that like audience to actually feed off of. It is a skill and you can build it up, and not everyone has it. Like there is definitely a certain amount of like natural whatever charisma, whatever talent that just goes into this.
I actually.
So I don't know. You can only exercise it a certain amount, but Oh man, I have so much respect for stand-ups. Like it is so ballsy, and then to just be able to own a room by like sitting down on a stool, in Chappelle's case, smoking a cigarette, and just kind of talking
Yeah, you're
generally quietly
fangirling
into a
Gray
mic.
over the stand-up comedians. I'm
And
not
not just him,
demeaning
but I mean,
them.
like you've got like Ali Sadiq who does the same type of deal where it's like they just grab the entire room's like just attention and focus, and it just like single-handedly like is the energy in the room. And they're more of storytellers, kind of like you're talking
You're
about.
not helping your case for not
But
fangirling.
I don't know.
But I
Cool,
do
fair enough.
understand what
But
you're talking about. I mean,
it is a certain amount. Like if you just went up there and sat on a stool and started telling jokes, it wouldn't be the same thing.
no.
But not everyone does that. Some people run around the stage like you do have the Dane Cook style. I don't know. It's super high energy. It's not something that I would be doing, but I don't know. People seem to like that.
No, I've done
He did have
monologues
a couple
before.
jokes that were kind of funny, but yeah. So it's a lot like that.
That's
like
memorization,
I
but a
don't
lot
know.
of people have
There
set
is an art
acts
to it.
and with a little bit of improv. But
Mhm.
sometimes on stage you got to improv a little bit when someone slubs up a line, unless you have some backup. But I've been in that situation before on stage, or
For sure.
in the top of a church with a gay
I don't know, it
director,
just-
and just let me not get into that. Okay, that was
And
my
I
last
mean, I'm
acting
sure
job.
you've done like some improv and stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
I
and all the
hate
acting that you've
my
done. Yeah.
my improv teacher hated me, but she was like a favorite person because she was a
But I
horrible
mean, like
person.
that is awesome, like you're kind of performing in front of people. You don't have that safety net. Like there is a possibility that it could just all fall, but you're trying to make comedy. Like I don't know, a lot of that is kind of what stand-up is. Just it's just you. You don't have anyone else that you could kind of rely on. Like if you miss a line, you don't have somebody that could back you up. If you don't know where you're going, you got nobody
One
else.
man
Like,
with
I
a
don't know,
mic
man.
versus the world, only armed
It's
with
just-
his
it's an
sense of yeah, I agree. It is art, and personally, I just like the more complex collaborative effort of skits and movies, comedy that bounces off. Even if sometimes like Dog Show was I don't even know if that was the name of it, but it was about a dog show people, and it was
Best
almost
in Show?
completely Best in Show. Yeah, that was a completely brilliant movie, and from what I hear, all of it was ad lib.
Yeah, they had like where the scene needed to go, but yes, almost everybody was just doing those improv. Yeah, it's kind
That's
of
definitely much more amazing to be able to do everything improv like that, and to be able
and
to
those
edit
Christopher
together.
Guest movies are amazing. He gets together like amazing cast to just be able to do that. It's really cool. Other people have tried it and it's not nearly as good. I don't know. Like you also get like a Curb Your Enthusiasm where it's very much in the same vein. Like he knows, okay, Larry has to do this in this scene, but the dialogue's all made up. Every once in a while they have a premise like you need to get this or whatever.
Yeah, like whose
But,
line is it anyways? I love that show. Well, certain
Yeah,
shows.
I used to like it.
Wayne Brady
they did it
sometimes
way back.
took it down a little bit, generally with the guest host. I mean, I like
So there was
his
actually a
musical thing.
British one
Oh, that was
that
much
was
better.
like
yes.
way before this. Yeah, and it actually had Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles in it. Comedy Central used to play it all the time. Like
Yeah,
replay
I'm
it.
pretty sure I went.
That one was awesome.
But-
I really dug that. And then it feels like they kind of dumbed it down for the American audiences, and they'd always use kind of the same piano thing for like the Western songs or whatever when they'd improv that. But I agree with you. It's that same type of deal. Like I don't know. It's a little bit different. I just took a little offense when you were saying that like stand up is kind of more of the simple man's thing. That's like I don't know what it is.
Okay, yeah, sorry I offended you, Greg.
There's an art to it.
Just sort of like how I offend
Oh,
gamers
it's not
by
the first
saying-
time. I expect offense when I talk to
Of
you.
course.
But that's okay. I've come to accept you.
Accept me and all my flaws.
but-
Sort of like how gamers always get cringe when
not
I
all of
talk
them.
about
Not-
Minecraft being just Lego for people and not really being that great of a video game. But I have my hot takes. A lot of them, in fact.
I mean, they move, and there's creepers. Where are the Lego creepers, sir?
Oh, you a big
Like,
Minecraft fan?
it's
You're
got
going to
its own
stand for
things.
that also. But yes.
I don't know. I've never Minecrafted.
So where do you think the internet has picked up? We were talking earlier about the comedians going into podcasts and that being a more natural thing that
Yeah.
can include more people who aren't good at stand up, like Adam Carolla. Hell, even you can even say freaking, how am I forgetting his name? Biggest radio DJ, Howard Stern. with the biggest show for a while that even launched the whole stupid little satellite radio venture.
Weird. You turned into a robot the second that you started talking about Howard Stern. But yeah, so with like I can't remember if
Sorry.
I can't remember if it's yeah. Anyway, the satellite radio that Stern is for, he's still making a shitload off of that. But I don't know. I don't hear anyone really going into that anymore.
No, but it was the biggest thing. He even got his own movie for a while.
Yeah,
things evolve, and I think a lot of people took inspiration from Stern. Probably even a lot of the earlier podcasters. I mean, there's definitely some podcasters now, like, I can't think of their name right at the moment.
Well, for sure. And I mean, like, he is one of the original shock jocks that we kind of had. He is a legend by far. He inspired everyone, which then led to, like, the next generation, which would have been, like, Opie and Anthony.
That's who I'm thinking, probably.
There they expired, like, Jim and Robert Norton. They just, or sorry, Jim Norton and Robert, I can't remember.
You're definitely better on
but
it's also
but like
Masterson now.
It is kind of that next. Yeah, you still have the amazing robot voice going.
Really?
Oh. Yeah, it has persisted. I believe that's why the resistance is futile, sir. Yeah.
Keep talking, Greg.
Okay. So from like the progression of those radio shows, it seems like podcasts were kind of the next step in that evolution. And it really fleshed it out. So like Opie and Anthony did so much for comedians in like the early 2000s. It just led to this amazing like kind of dawn of they're kind of the premier comedians that we have right now. But what kind of launched all of them was being on Opie and Anthony and realizing that, like, hey, when comedians just shoot the shit, it is hilarious. So that just kind of led into what these podcasts are. And then from all of these podcasts, we're kind of getting to, they're going to be visual podcasts because everyone is going to YouTube now. And comedians are just getting banned left and right now for just the simplest thing. But I think...
do I still sound like a Borg?
I mean, no more than usual, but no more robot voice, if that's
what I mean. Resistance is futile. I'm putting on this voice just to fuck with you. Take me to your leader. But yeah,
I don't know. The radio was great, but it generally, like, you would get like the radio in the market that you're going to play, so you'd get like 5 minutes, and I don't know, that wasn't great. So when people like Howard Stern or Opie and Anthony had like comedians that actually came in and would like sit in for the show, it got amazing. And I think that's the natural progression into podcasts. They realized that like this is what comedians should do. Like they really should sit in for the whole panel. They should crack wise. It's amazing. That's what they do. These guys are paid to be funny, and they are hilarious.
But they're the old
and when you
guard.
get multiple together, there's just a ball busting that's amazing.
They're the old guard. Okay, they are. They will be deleted.
They are. Some of the most popular, most profitable podcasts, like Cumtown was huge. I know they dissolved like 2 years ago or something like that. But I don't know. Like it is newer up and coming comedians who are kind of getting popular through social media, through YouTube, through their podcasts. I don't know that it is necessarily the old guard. It kind of led to this floodgate. Now anybody can be out there. And this year alone, I wish I had the exact number. I think it's like, I can't remember how many comedy specials, but it is like a record-breaking amount of comedy specials that have come out this year, and specifically on YouTube. Yeah, it is. We're in a boom of comedy right now, and it is amazing.
Now you think YouTube has taken certain issues with certain people. This is why Tim Dillahunty and the other guy who you had an interesting story about Roseanne Barr.
And Theo Vaughn just got both of them just got strikes last week. Excuse me, Tim Dillon and Theo Vaughn, and it's really kind of wow. for nebulous reasons as far as the Tim Dillon one is concerned. And then for the Theo Von one, it's really kind of crazy because it was essentially Roseanne, but she was talking about, it was very similar to is it A Modest Proposal, the one that we were talking about before?
Yeah, you were comparing it.
I see similarities, like the way this guy took it so seriously.
Roseanne was a
also
genius back in the day. She might have lost her edge.
Yeah.
Maybe a break has done her good, even if it wasn't her choice. So I would like to see what she's doing now. I know she definitely was down on the out for a while, so I'm hoping to see her come back before. Because Carlin,
she's pretty funny. She just started a podcast herself. I think she's on like episode 3 or 4 now. And that's actually what she was going to advertise on this. But I've seen her on like Kill Tony and a couple other podcasts, and she is hilarious. She seems a little out of touch, but you know, she always kind of was. It's Roseanne, man. But yeah, she got a strike for somewhat innocuous thing. So yeah, she was saying that the real truth is President Biden won the 2020 election, and there were 81 million votes in 36 counties. I don't know. Like, she didn't necessarily talk about, you know, this didn't happen. This is not a legitimate thing. She kept going down the route of this is legitimate. And somehow I don't know, the sarcasm leaked through or something and actually ended up getting Theo Von some sort of strike for this. Enough so that he's not able to post for like a week. And then Tim Dillon was something rather similar. And then, there were like 3 others that all happened within like a 2-week stretch. It seems like people are really coming down on comedy right now, which is kind of scary to me. So yeah, it may actually be a strange revolution where we're actually changing platforms. I know both Tim Dillon and Theo Von mentioned possibly going to Twitter.
I think maybe YouTube is just shifting markets, because since they pushed into the shorts market, it's really made a real impact, a real boom. A lot of things, even longer form videos, have sort of cropped up around that, especially in commentary, because I swim the oceans. Not a specialist like you and Gray. This is why I asked you to come on to talk about comedy. Where do you see the overlap in comedians, comedic satire, satirists? Like, are you familiar with J-Rags, who did very satirical and ironic humor?
For sure. Yeah, J-Rag. I don't know. I liked a lot of his videos, but I'm not sure if it is like ironic or not. Like, I don't know. I never actually got to the bottom of like what was
there is any bottom
and what wasn't. I don't know. That being said, I've enjoyed his work. I don't know that I've quite understood it all.
And so that might be like what we were watching in that one video, talking about that you don't absolutely understand the comedy of J-Rags, but you enjoy it still. There was a whole community. I sort of got out of it. I got into it when I was looking for my centrist top 10 centrist video, because I used to make sort of every year I would make a top 10 list as a parody. There would always be some, at least one pick that made you be like, is this a real list? And J-Rags for my top 10 centrist / moderates was my dog tag, I guess, because when you have a comedy bit, sometimes people don't get it unless you have one extreme example to highlight how you're being comedic, sort of like the Eden Baby things and Modest Proposal. There's a couple of things like that. There's a lot of people trying to say they're satire and commentary. Have you even tried to watch any of those things? I mean, they were very much in the veins of iDubbbz, you know, the roasting.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not.
I was trying to think who else would qualify as that, but yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. I don't know.
Like
I kind of dug some of those. Yeah. And I kind of dug some of those iDub content cop things, but I was never really the biggest fan. I think the Rice Gum one was the one that I knew the most, and then I think there were like a couple of rap diss tracks going back and forth, and I think that caused like a war. I don't know.
Did you even get into that
I
stupid
remember
stuff?
some of that stuff.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
It was kind of fun. I still remember what was it, like bitch lasagna or whatever?
Was that PewDiePie? I think.
I think that was the PewDiePie's one, but I think that one was yeah, I think that was a beef track, but I can't remember now. If not, then I'm mixing it up with his other one.
Yeah, he had a T Series one celebration. That one was sort of funny.
Yeah, that one too. So I don't know. Like there is some kind of absurd, over the top comedy. I don't know. It's funny, but I don't know that the platform is really wanting that anymore. I know, like, so everyone's getting a bunch of strikes. I think like Legion of Skanks is on like their 4th or something channel. They just keep getting their channels nuked. Granted, they do bill themselves as like the most offensive podcast on earth, so I could see why they would keep getting banned, especially if they kind of slip up and show something they're not supposed to, or let things go beeped, if you will.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, they're currently still on YouTube, and they are the most offensive podcast out there. So I don't know. It is going to be interesting if others do decide to leave YouTube. I just don't know if there's a viable platform, but with Tucker Carlson leaving, and
Leafy is here
Fox
is on Rumble now. Okay, there's also Rumble as alternative.
I know, but Rumble has the right wing connotation now.
I think so.
Like,
I think that's
I don't know that it's
more
ever gonna be as
Nick
big.
Fuentes is.
Well, fair enough. That one's like far right, but
yeah, Ethan
Rumble,
Ralph.
I don't know. I always keep hearing that, like it's right wing, like Tim Pool right wing, and it's like, okay, is he really right wing?
Not
but
really.
That's how I keep hearing that platform is billed. Where Twitter, I don't know. Like, the comedians that I hear talking about it, they're not right wing comedians, but Tucker Carlson is going there. He's taking his show to Twitter. Elon has supposedly said that he's committed to free speech. If that's the case, I don't know. Maybe that is the place for comedy to go to.
Maybe.
I don't know. It could definitely change what Twitter is doing. I don't
Twitter
know what
has
the model would be for making money off of it.
They're doing weird stuff.
But hey, if they have ads too, like on the videos, I don't know. Maybe
people are jumping from Twitter to something called Thread. Yeah, I think it's called Threads.
Yeah, there's
a lot of people,
one, and there's another one that I've seen.
A lot of people have been directing people because of something Elon said. They're trying to promote people to get in their Discord, and some people are talking about go to a new thing called Thread, which I never heard of. Yeah, on Rumble now, they seem to be trying to take over. Seems to be doing decent numbers right now. Russell Brand's up there. I can understand why they would think it's right wing. It's alternative to YouTube. Yeah. But also Twitch is having problems. Not that you can really do comedy on Twitch.
Yeah.
I mean, Twitch is ridiculous.
No, theirs is much different now. And a lot of people seem to be jumping ship off of there. But it feels like with a lot of the social medias, you can kind of choose your flavor. So if you want to be left-wing social media, you can find that. Apparently, Twitter is now too right-wing. But, there's always, like, the other ones, like the alternatives.
And Anna Kasparian is a right-wing. It's trying to grift off of the right wing, join the Young Turks. Hilarious stuff.
Apparently
and I saw someone mention, oh, yeah, Chenkin and are so transphobic. I'm like, oh God, how freaking fucking.
Yeah, I remember when that was our leftists, and now they're not left enough. I don't know. It is kind of strange, for sure. But yeah, it seems like there's some censorship coming to YouTube again. So I don't know. I'm hoping this isn't like the 4th or 5th adpocalypse, whatever the hell we're on.
Maybe
now.
They're trying to avert it with all these quick bans. I mean, I have been seeing a lot of people have been talking about it. There was the whole Ackman situation where sexual content, where he had a meme with this guy, Quantum TV, who is typically a lolcow that a lot of the gaming commentary YouTubers crack fun of and follow, like a lolcow, like Chris Chan and a lot of that. What do you think? that brings me into a good issue. Do you know about these people following the locales like Chris Chan, DSP,
Yeah, I definitely know the Chris Chan,
Wings of
whatever,
Redemption? I mean,
I've heard of the DSP one. I don't think I know Wings of Redemption, but I do know the whole lolcow thing. Whatever you want to call it, archetype. Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of sad to me. That being said, there seem to be a bunch of communities that kind of do that. They kind of, I don't know if you call it like hate watch or hate follow or just kind of document the thing. I guess some could argue, we're doing that with Dane, that he is a lolcow unto himself. And, people go there to hate watch and they like to watch the anti-Dane community, I guess.
interesting.
So I don't know. I guess I'd be somewhat hypocritical to say like it's a bad thing. I understand it. I don't really participate, but I know like in like the weight loss community, there's a bunch of them that are kind of similar. Like I think Amber Lynn Reed or whatever is her name. But yeah, there are supposed lolcows in a lot of different communities on the internet. Yeah, I don't know. Do you have a strong feeling on the whole lolcow thing? Do you think it's a wrong
I think
thing?
it is becoming pragmatic. The people are looking for targets to sort of go after. I meant some of it's in good fun, but I think people cross the line. There was a commentary person who took the commentary scene called Salvo Pancakes for a while, and he did some really shady shit. He was really causing havoc with Keemstar. You know about Keemstar, right?
Yeah.
Troll turned drama whoring guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have seen a lot of the drama with that. And I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like a lot of his stuff popularity is kind of waning in the recent past.
Keemstar?
I don't know. Yeah, like I don't believe he's still what he used to be. And
absolutely not.
I don't know. I don't think that he should be talking about the news skirt that way.
Thank you, mystery stranger. Good to see we have fans
Entirely
out
too
there.
Yeah.
Patrick's just a hater, at least to me. He's Dane's best buddy.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you think? So sorry. The other comedian was Danny Polishuk. He also was struck last week. I don't know if you remember the. Sorry, now I'm
here.
everyone's name
I'm
on
worried about the getting
no.
struck again, but maybe this will future comedy. Maybe just by showing this on screen will refresh, because this is the one you got me with. Tim Dillon,
Yeah, Tim Dillon and Theo Vaughn were both struck last week, and then I don't know if you remember that sketch. It was making the rounds for quite a while, but it was woke versus racist, or woke compared to racist with Ryan Long.
Okay.
Anyway, he's the other guy in it, so he would have been the woke guy, and Ryan Long was the racist guy. Yeah, he just got struck last week, so he had to actually make a new channel. I can't remember exactly.
Ryan Long got struck, or someone who had him on?
Danny Polishuk. He's basically like his partner. He's in a lot of the sketches that they do together. He's the other guy in that.
God.
Yeah. So it's really weird. They're going after a lot of comedians, but I don't know. Still, a lot of people aren't struck yet. So I don't know. I'm just not sure if they are going to be moving to different platforms. I know if somebody as big as Tim Dillon is, that could definitely signal some sort of movement for sure. I don't know. I don't think the censorship is getting quite as bad on YouTube as it is like on Twitch, but
this could just be
doesn't bode well for comedians.
This could just be they could just be testing out a new algorithm, and they might want to correct it if they want to keep these people, or they could be going into this long form, short form, shorts nonsense, because a lot of commentaries make fun of just do shorts, making fun of other shorts, and it's becoming really meta. And I'm not finding it really good, but a lot of people are getting a lot of growth off of it. I don't know how much money they're making.
I don't think there's like any money in shorts or anything like that, but I think
Yeah, I don't think
it
there's
brings in
really
a
much
certain type
ad.
of
I don't see
view.
how the ads are on
No,
shorts. So
and you don't get like much revenue on it, from what I understand. And then the average short watcher is not really somebody that would watch long form content.
yeah, a
So
lot of people grow
I don't
off
know.
of shorts.
It's really weird.
Don't really get the views on their longer videos. That was the whole thing with Zero. Who needs
Yeah.
coffee?
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the utility of it. It will get eyes out there, but yeah, I definitely haven't found too much with my shorts, but I haven't done much with shorts.
Shorts are good for promoting your channel,
Oh
but
no, we just bored a base life into having a stroke.
shit.
I
Sorry. Do we need to do something? Make a joke? A little
I
dance?
think that's like half the audience we just killed right there. So that's not good.
Are we getting
you
too
will be
deep,
missed.
too boring? Do I
You
need to
were
insult
based.
Gray a little bit more or play some
Yeah, let's
parody
get the
songs?
claws out again.
Like, what do you think of this? This is going to be a parody song. It shouldn't probably get me struck again. That just really weirded me out. It probably was just probably just too many cooks for too long. We were talking over
Yeah,
it,
it
but
could
the
be.
visual, I don't know. I'm not going to do that again ever. But something like this, a parody. I got this guy to do a parody song for me because I found this fascinating. They really harassed this guy, the commentary community, and everyone just loved it. Calling him a pedo and stuff because of some stuff. I'm seeing more of this going on. But it's within children. I mean, Gray, you should not deal with a lot of these children that I try to cover because they really are insufferable to talk to. Most of them. I mean, some of them have senses of humor, but some of them just, they talk about doing satire and making fun of people, but then they all spurg out when someone starts making fun of them. I understand my understanding of gamer talk, shit talk, I'm sure people sorry, I don't have good tits, a base life. Plus, I don't feel like going on camera. I don't have a good one. Gray, maybe you got any?
Nah, I'm running out.
Okay. But yeah, let me take that down. But yeah, it probably is outside your expertise. So definitely would want your advice on sort of this sort of issue. Like there's roast comedy, and that's what I see some of this commentary going. But it gets a little bit
surprisingly,
vicious.
I'm not seeing the roast guys get taken down, and I mean, like that is like vicious. So I don't know. I haven't seen them get strikes. Like it's weird. Like Tim Dillon got the strike, but it's really just him monologuing. Like I don't know if you're familiar with his brand of comedy, but like he kind of sits there, usually has on like sunglasses or something, and is just kind of monologue. It's just words, but it's not like offensive words. They're not slurs or anything like that. So
he's probably a list for some of his views. Who knows? Or maybe the algorithm finds his face offensive. I mean, sometimes I find his face offensive, but this is why I don't show my face, so I can't really judge his face. That's a joke, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like it's just strange because then the whole Roseanne thing, like she said something that's clearly not a joke and then said something that's a joke. And it's like, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what part of that is unlistenable, but it didn't exactly come off to me as hate speech. It came off as somebody doing, I don't know if you'd want to call it satire or just being ironic with their speak, but I don't know. It's just a very strange time to be in. And then, somebody that just makes like sketches on their channel got struck down.
Partner of Ryan Long. Shouldn't they support gay married men? A partnership, two guys together?
I mean, I think they're just Canadians. They're not gay married, but,
the civil union,
I do believe,
hey. One's woke,
I
one's
do believe Danny
racist.
Polishuk just got engaged, so I don't want to spread vicious rumors about
just
him.
like Lauren Southern is supposedly having the secret Destiny baby. Oh, that was hilarious. Oh, freaking Chud logic.
Yeah, that was weird that just got thrown into that whole weird accusation. I don't know. I followed that down a rabbit hole one day. That is such a weird story. But like stories like that aren't getting censored or whatever. So I don't know. It just seems arbitrary. But if you don't have the correct opinion, I don't know. Somehow you're getting censored. It doesn't seem to be, random. Like no one from that whole situation got censored, as far as I know. Even though there were supposedly pictures that were blurred, but not enough. And that didn't get a lot of people struck, even though they played it. I don't know. That seems weird to me.
What, the
but,
Hunter Avalone
words.
thing? Are you talking? Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hunter Avalone's wife had a bunch of pictures leaked on this guy's stream, and
No, his video. Yes.
supposedly,
I've been keeping up with that.
supposedly he censored it, he blurred it, but not enough. But there were a lot of people who played his video, and yet these guys weren't like struck, as far as I
No,
know.
he took down his video. That's the thing. Everyone was saying it was revenge porn and shit like that. Trying to give him a hard time
because it
about
wasn't blurred enough.
He took it down, okay,
No, for sure,
but they
but-
still like revenge porn, and other people used in their videos. So yeah, all these YouTubers sort of are off their rockers, and I really think things are getting weird within YouTube land between the classic comedians with these podcast strikes and some of these autistic people who. And then you have Adam 22. That's the current thing. I don't know if you're up on that, guys.
Yeah,
He's a cuck also.
I don't know that I'm current. I know who he is, but yeah, I did hear his most recent thing. That yeah,
I remember Chud Logic was making fun of him because his wife had sex with the mascot, basically the lead guy of Blacked, the porn website. So that was sort of funny. Chud went on a whole thing. Dude got plugged by the face of Blacked. Oh, and you got to find it.
Well, I mean, that is kind of funny in a weird way, but I don't know. You marry a porn star, it kind of feels like that is a road that may
made
come
her
up
fame.
eventually.
She made her fame off of that sort of shit. So lying the shit you live in.
Kind of seems like it. So yeah, because it sounds like they decided that that's the next thing for her career. I don't know a ton about the situation, but he seems okay with it. So yeah, I don't know.
See,
I wish them the best.
See, I'm an odd guy. Did you hear about the Miranda Singh? She sort of did an apology for
Yeah.
grooming.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Does it seem like grooming to you, or does it seem like
seems like some weird
somebody
shit.
kind of trying to get clout off of?
No, I don't
spreading
think
that?
it's clout. I mean,
don't
maybe
think
there
so?
could be an element of that. This is Mike the Bike. It's funny enough. This is a parody of this, of
Yeah.
Miranda Sings. I actually recommended that he do this. He's like, other people have been telling me this. So I find this awesome. So I'm definitely gonna be like, watch this video by Mike the Bike. He does basically a parody of Miranda Sings horrible apology. And this is the sort of stuff that, well, I encouraged him to do this. Other people supposedly did also. Not close friends, but I had him make a video for me because I can't sing and I wanted to do a parody song. And I'm an asshole for this. I've been told I'm weird for creating this parody song on this one guy that did the 4-hour
Come on,
video
that's
on
not
me.
the only reason you're weird.
Exactly. In Catherine's Discord, here's the one. I have it on my channel too. I sort of am an asshole for this, but it was. I just couldn't help myself. You think I'm an asshole for commissioning this song?
Not just for that reason.
Okay, but this is part of the reason why I'm an asshole and villain.
Yeah, but I mean, like, your personality adds so much to it.
Oh,
you know?
thank you.
It's the main flavor.
Okay. Okay. I embrace the troll side a little bit too hard. Sorry, I know you don't want to engage in all these petty antics that I do, and I don't try to bring you in. Just sometimes I think it's funny and I want to gloat. Sorry,
Well,
I'm horrible,
I'm not
Gray.
always above. I'm not always above trolling.
Yeah, you have
I've
that
been known
one
to troll a
video
bit myself,
which I think is
yeah,
rather good.
yeah,
Do you have musical talent, Gray?
Yeah. I mean, it's arguable, but yeah, I've played a bunch of instruments and was in a bunch of bands.
See, I played instruments when I was young. I just didn't have talent. I played
Oh, come on.
piano.
You probably played a mean recorder, like, hot cross buns or whatever.
It was more technical. I couldn't feel the music. I could play the sheet music. I could memorize the sheet music. I even did a recital. Again, I'm just a talented hack who just likes to talk and make fun of myself and others sometimes.
Well, but you're an actor. You can act like you have talent. So, I mean, that's a talent into itself.
I'm one of the jack of all trades, except for music or language. But it's all fine, all good in the hood. Gray plays the tambourine. Is that true, mystery guess?
I play a mean tambourine.
Wow.
Okay.
I play the triangle. That whole
it takes a certain kind.
Christopher Walken sketch. Christopher Walken, classic guy. I mean, man, he plays a mean
I got a couple
triangle.
of cowbells.
So, are you seeing any influence from new comedian YouTubers on some of the stuff? Like, we got into the whole edgy comedy.
So. Yeah, like we mentioned the whole like Ryan Long thing. I think his videos, specifically that woke versus racist, have really taken the internet by storm. Yeah, I think like there is this new room for that, and then that led into those guys having a podcast. And I know I've seen him run the Ryan Long specifically, but also Danny Polishuk, just running like the podcast circuit. And yeah, again, it's leading to like more specials. Everyone's putting out YouTube specials. It's awesome, man. We are in a golden age of comedy right now, a comedy renaissance, if you will. I just hope that, it doesn't get kind of taken from us with this whole censorship thing. I hope it's just something triggered a couple people.
Oh, God.
I'm hoping. Because, yeah, from what I hear, I think it was like Geeks and Gamers also got like demonetized last week or something. Supposedly it was just an accident on the back end.
Oh, fuck those guys.
I don't know.
Sorry. I know you're a fan of them.
It is kind of scary if there's a whole bunch of censorship going through. Joel Haver is awesome, man.
That's someone who I wanted to bring up. I couldn't remember his name there for a second. I remember Dax Flame, who got promoted sometime, but I could not remember this guy's name.
You know who you got to check out? He just does these crazy, absurd sketches that are just like awesome. Bridge Stewart. Are you familiar with him?
Bridge Stewart? No.
Yeah.
Let me see. Remember
you
Joel
should totally
Haver.
Check out his one with something about like the chair is just like amazing.
Oh, I'm blanking. Bridge Stewart?
I think it's Stuart.
Oh, I don't know. Let's see if this comes up with something. Oh, okay. I'll look for it later. Maybe you can.
Bridge structures. Yes.
Yes.
Engineering.
Oh,
Let's not let this collapse. We can do this.
Oh, the stream is collapsing. Sorry, I am.
Hello, everyone. I'm here today with my friend Joel Haver. Hey, guys. He's
I
the
want to bring
master
up
of
Joel
sketch
Haver.
comedy, and
I'll have to check
Joel
out
Haver's
Bridge
awesome.
Stewart later. But yeah, Joe Haver. Some of the stuff that came from his stuff, some of his animations is interesting. Yeah. There's also some, a lot of the animations, like Hot Diggity Demon. You like him at all with his sort of weird little animations?
I think I'm familiar with him. Yeah. I really do like that weird animation stuff, and I do like that weird Joel Haver style, like where it's sort of rotoscope, but not really, and really poorly auto done. Like it's just an amazing style. It's certainly its own thing, and I've seen a whole bunch of people kind of copy that since.
Yeah, I think he's moved away from that recently.
Oh, for sure.
Some of the stuff is still good.
You scroll by.
There's the weird. Yeah,
it would have to take so much time to do that. Like, come on. But I really like that style.
Yeah, like
SNL
stole my video.
Copy that. Yeah.
I remember watching
And
that.
that is true. They pretty much did. It was a great one.
Yeah, and oof.
But I don't know, just with I really hope YouTube doesn't go down the route of more censorship, because goddamn, there has been so much cool stuff like Joel Haver, like Bridge Stewart, that I don't know where this weird stuff would live.
I don't think
I don't know. It's just so amazing.
I don't think Joel Haver is really going to get something I do want to bring up. I'm not advocating for censorship, but I do really think censorship does create some, like the whole hard times thing, create strong men. Censorship can create new forms of comedy, like film noir back in the day sort of skirted the Hays Code. And why I'm not for censorship in any forms, I do like sort of ways to get around with edgy comedy, with not politically approved comedy in really weird ways. And sometimes censorship can create new forms of comedy, at least I believe. I don't want it, but it can create new forms of comedy. What do you think about that process?
I understand what you're saying, and you're not wrong. Like, sometimes the restriction really does like make the art. That being said, there is something to having the most offensive comedy you can have out there. Like I was mentioning, like Legion of Skanks, they bill themselves as the most offensive podcast out there, and they go to the 3 R's, the core values. I don't even feel comfortable saying the 3 R's that are their core values, but they have such classic bits like who's most justified, where it's going to be who's most justified in this most unjustifiable thing. And it is comedians going through and just kind of, giving you a very, very funny, very dark take on some horrible videos, like people being beaten, like who's most justified in the beating that's obviously non-justifiable. I don't know. There is room for that kind of comedy that is just offensive for the sake of offensive. I don't know. I don't think you could get what they're doing if you did try and censor it and try to say, okay, well, here, instead of saying this, we can say this flowery phrase. I don't know. What they're doing is unique, and it is offensive, and it's intentionally offensive. I don't know. I think comedy should be allowed to do what they do. Like, they are the pressure release valve for society. And I don't know, they should be allowed to find those gray areas, those black areas, find out where the line is that can't be crossed. And, what happens if you do cross it?
You move to Rumble or Cozy TV, I guess, if you cross that line. Yeah.
But then who's going to see it? Like, when's the last time you tuned into any of that? I think I tried to watch Cozy TV once and then saw how, like, I couldn't just watch. I had to, like, create an account and was like, I think that's about as far as I got.
So it's just laziness. I mean, at a certain point, laziness will be overcome if there's not enough good stuff on the platforms you frequent. So if YouTube goes too far with its censorship, it's going to lose a lot. Sort of like how Twitch is losing a lot to Kick. People have been making fun of Pokimane because she sort of passive aggressively went after XQC for going over to Kick, and people were just mocking, like, oh really, you're evil incarnate, why are you talking about ethics and all this shit? You pretty much made the push for gambling that made your competitor rise. It was the absurdity in social situations is definitely funny, sort of like Hunter and Adam 22's wife getting plugged into the plugged by the lead of.
So could you talk about that if even comedy isn't I don't know, if comedy isn't like able to be, I don't know, actually said, could you actually honestly report on those situations, or would that be over the line too? I don't know. That seems like an incredibly absurd situation, but there's so much comedy that could be had from it. Just you bringing it up is making both of us chuckle. I feel like, that's why comedy has to be free. But I am kind of a weird person in that regard. I don't believe everybody shares my beliefs there.
Yeah, I'm it. No matter what you think about synthetic, man, I hate to bring him up, especially since Anna isn't here to do it. He's become like a punching bag recently. And from what I've been understanding is he's just trying to pull off edgy comedy. He's made that clear in some of his off videos, and people are roasting him for that because he's making like the "we was kings" joke, and he has to make this whole video to explain his joke and sort of mock the comments around him. And that's sort of where I see the future going with some of these younger YouTubers. And yeah, why I would probably enjoy a lot of these podcasts. Like, I probably don't like them as much because I hang out around
Well, you're
freaking.
not a fan of comedy, so
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
No, Dylan, he's okay sometimes. Trying to straw man me, say I have just a different taste in comedy, like how some of my comedical videos.
So it looks like we had a question on there. What's the last funny movie you watched? You're a film guy, right?
Occasionally. I've been lacking. What's the last film you watched, comedy wise?
So, I laughed the most at The Flash, probably, but I don't think I was
that's not really
supposed to.
comedy, though.
No, that was like babies in the microwave. Like that's dark comedy for sure. The last like real comedy movie that I laughed at was probably The Machine. It's Bert Kreischer kind of biopic, but not. It's an interesting one. I definitely had a few really laugh out loud moments in there.
Yeah, I don't think I've been keeping up. Bringing up the list. What? Far From Home is labeled as a comedy movie? I definitely saw Free Guy. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Some of these lists are just, whoa. Not something I can share. See, I think I'm just becoming a doomer. I'm not watching a lot of the current comedies. I wanted to watch Bodies, Bodies, Bodies if you've seen something for that, but it's sort of been putting me off.
They're claiming Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves is a comedy. I thought it more of like an action adventure, but okay. I guess they're even calling Cocaine Bear a comedy. I mean, it had some comedic parts, but it wasn't like...
Probably it's hilarious. I'm just looking at what they're considering comedy movies.
Yeah. But I'd have to say The Machine was the last like straight up comedy that I saw. I really liked that one. But I guess you kind of have to be primed. If you don't like Bert, you would not like that one. For sure.
The Machine?
Yeah, it's like Bert Kreischer's movie. He's a comedian. He always takes his shirt off and is really loud.
Sounds like new loud equals funny, which seems to be.
He's got some bits that are funny. He's also got some ones that I think people just laugh because he's charismatic. But I don't know. His movie was pretty funny. His father is played by Luke Skywalker. I mean that's always fun.
Yes.
I don't know. I like seeing
You're
Mark
my
Hamill.
son. Okay, I see this Machine. Bert catches on the past. Oh, it's got a horrible rating though, man.
Yeah.
You sure you want to stand that?
Bert, I liked it, but I'm a Bert fan, so I don't know. I would like to see those guys make more movies. I like Bert. I like Tom. I like all those guys. I'd like to see them.
Renfield does seem interesting, but I'm just hesitant to do any comedies nowadays. Wow. I'm just looking at the
so
comedy
you're just not
list.
a fan of comedy, period.
Not modern day comedy. I love the spoofs of the 80s. Maybe I just
spoofs of the 80s.
Yeah.
Careful, man. Careful. Almost got
us delisted again.
Again, yeah. It's awfully close to it could be considered near slur.
Near slur, okay.
But
Gray, stop being such a sissy.
Okay.
Did I just slur you? Is that a slur?
I think so. I don't identify that way, sir.
God, there really isn't.
I am no sissy. Yeah, I guess technically, if we were on Twitter, that would be. But I think you're cool.
Well, that's also repeated. I would have had to go create a song. Gray's a sissy, sissy, sissy. He's such a sissy. See, now that would definitely be over the line. That would be harassment, canceled. Calling you a sissy so much. But yeah, okay, you got me in a pinch. I don't know of any really good. I haven't seen any recent good comedy movies. I guess I'm just too in the weeds with video games, and I haven't really watched anime that much. I'm just becoming a doomer, I guess. Kick me, Gray.
So much less now. Like, yeah, the whole Unspeakable event really did kind of change my patterns on that. I used to go a lot, but apparently it changed a lot of people's habits. Now people kind of only go to certain movies. It's not like people just go to the movies anymore, which I don't know. I definitely remember doing that. Like, I don't know what's planned. Let's just go to the movie theater. Okay, there's a movie there. Yeah, I don't think many people do that anymore, which fair enough. But I don't know. Hopefully,
they're remaking White Men Can't Jump, it looks like. Best new comedy movies. Okay.
Yeah, it's like Jack
I didn't
Harlow
hear about it.
Yeah. Did you like the original? Did you get the White Men Can't Jump?
It was a good movie. Oh, like this one. I don't want to see. No hard feelings. It seems like so much cringe. Jennifer Lawrence, I think, gets hired to date a teenager. I just can't get behind some of this. Renfield actually looks good. I'm gonna actually have to do that at some point.
I have not seen that one. I should, but yeah, I've kind of been seeing more comic book movies recently, I guess.
I guess that's sort of oversaturated. That has hit the fields and gone running. But yeah, I guess I just don't get my comedy from movies anymore, or even really TV shows.
Don't go to the source, man. Don't get it distilled down into like some romantic thing. Just get it right from the comedian. You need it. It will
I need it hard.
Fix your heart.
Get C.K. Lewis.
Again.
I mean, there has been some good stuff that I've seen. A lot of. It's been a couple months, but I see a lot of cheesy movies. There was a Risk Cutters movie that was sort of dark that I liked. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I think he kills himself, and pretty much the afterlife is sort of like the Earth, but weird. I like dark comedies, and I definitely shit. Well, why don't thought in my mind is to sort of rate one of my comedies, one of my older comedic. Can you do that for me, Gray?
Yeah, sure.
See how well you think this old comedy of mine holds up. And I shouldn't be copyrighted for it because it's my own videos. Let's hope not. Like this one. It's cubic. The breast implants I want. In an American car so much bigger than our Japanese ones. Imagine the engine on that thing. It's the perfect car. It just makes me all wet. Don't be so superficial, so cringe. You dumb one. And scratch full of features that an airhead like you will need. A pink one with a unicorn would match my ass tattoo perfectly. Yeah, cringe. Not one of my better ones, but sometimes you gotta cringe.
What do you think of that one?
Oh, it's cringy.
So you're saying cringe?
Yeah, of course. I made it.
I don't know.
It's horrible.
As a fan of the original Sailor Moon, I gotta say your voice acting could use just a little bit of work. You don't.
Well, you are
really
professional voice actor.
But yeah, so pro. But yeah, I can get the comedy in there, and I do like the what you did with the looking at the constellations. Yeah, I definitely get what you're going for there. But yeah.
So if you created comedy on YouTube channel, which you should at some point, besides just your 100 subs song, how would you approach it? A satire. What approach would you take?
You know, it's completely different today. I think I'd probably go with sketches, just because that's kind of what kind of comes to mind. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I think I'd go sketch is how I would do it now. I don't know. Would you go with satire or? Because I don't know. It seems like, with you being an actor, it seems like sketch would be like right up your alley.
Yeah, I would definitely do a sketch. I'm still waiting for. I might have to jump that in case the death of the author. You remember what I told you? Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yes.
What I'm going to jump in the middle that might blow up in my face, but I want to keep that in my pocket for that as a little fun little random thing in the middle. Death of a comedian. But yeah, I'll keep that as a surprise. But yeah, I definitely could create something. I've tried to, well, that one thing is a dark comedy. And there's definitely other things I've thought of writing. I've started writing that's comedic, like something about a typewriter. Yeah, I would definitely have to sit down and think about how I would do a one-man act or sketch show around there. Deans, I guess we lost a base life to hate watching. God rest a base life.
You can hate watch two things at the same time, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely don't think comedy is dead, and you're right. Like, there are certain types of comedy that you could do with the restrictions, and in fact, it could make it even better. I just think we would lose certain types of comedy, and that's I don't know. That's a shame. I think there's something to be said about extremely vulgar comedy. I think it exists for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, and using slurs, do you think that's okay even? If it's in a comedic purpose?
I think if it's for comedy, I think yes, it is. If you're just calling somebody that, I think that's morally reprehensible. But I think anything should be allowed for the sake of comedy.
Okay. Not murder, though. I think J-Rex had a parody on that.
Depends on how funny it is. But no, I would say not a crime per se, unless it's just speech laws.
I murdered him ironically, Judge. You look, I winked before I stabbed him.
I mean, it is a hilarious concept.
My
I think
eyes.
that sketch should be, it makes sense. But yeah, I couldn't support murder or any bodily harm done for the sake of comedy.
Yeah, or this scene here. I wonder if this video is probably down. Not this one. I know I have the scene in here. Here. This famous scene. I took up a preacher voice. Our Lord and Savior. iDubbbz. What would iDubbbz do? Do you think I earmarked this correctly enough?
Audio for this part?
No. Sample it. It's too long for me.
Cop on Tanamon, whatever. Which way will the wind blow for the commentary community?
Say nigger.
Whoa.
One man has seen that way. A man who joined in the great rise.
Is the stream still up? I forgot. I actually
man who
privated that
is here his fatal blow. He has come down from his lofty Twitch stream to deliver the prophecy of the great Lord of the commentary community, iDubbbz. That man is Nick Cash, maybe better known as.
Oh yeah, I think it's been so long since I've seen this. I was making fun of Nick Cash. Okay, and iDubbbz. What would iDubbbz do?
Our overreaction hurt them more than iDubbbz content cop could ever. People wonder why Zaptai responded the way he did. Maybe he learned the lessons of the two before him.
Yeah, cringe. Okay. Oof. Old videos. Thank God you don't have those, Gray. Did I lose you? Did you die of cringe?
No, sorry. I just took a sip of coffee and then started choking. So,
because of how horrible that was?
Yeah, it was so cringe. I almost died from coffee ingestion.
But nevertheless,
Oh, yeah, horrible Mike. I thought this was better, but it's good reason I unlisted this video. And I didn't quite pull off the preacher voice as much as I thought I did. It's what I was going for. Great Lord, iDubbbz. I thought it was funny at the time, and it worked. But this video is unlisted mainly because I'm like, with the way things, I should private it again. With the way things, maybe back it up and delete it. It does have the N word. I'm not saying, I hope I don't say it for this video. I don't think I do. I'm not going to admit to it if I do. You listen to YouTube? I would never say the N word. Me as a white man, never going to happen. Except for
wouldn't iDubbbz it.
Wouldn't iDubbbz and call a pretty young white lady. Yeah, I talked about many issues in this probably. Oh, yeah, sorry. I keep exposing you to cringe in an attempt to be like, look how bad my comedy videos were. I didn't really prepare for this, so I'm sorry, Gray.
Oh,
I don't know how I could prepare.
I think you did prepare. I see that it was added to a list. I think you wanted to show the world this video. I don't think you you think it should be seen.
I should embarrass myself. But yeah, I knew if we wanted to get on the topic of comedy, having some examples of my comedy so you can make fun of me for it. Like, I definitely didn't live up to the original voice actor of Usagi here.
I'm just saying, Usagi is a great character with a great voice actress.
I think I really actually screwed up the cat's voice. I think that's where I really committed my voice acting sin there.
Luna's voice is quite distinct as well. Yeah.
I tried to do it, but that was just weird. Cat voice. I don't know what to do with that. But yeah, well. So, edgy comedy good. You think
edgy comedy good? I hope it's around to stay, but if not, we'll still have comedy, but it'll need a new platform because edgy comedy should live somewhere, and we're in the day and age where we got the best that's out there. So
yeah, we don't need the cringy comedy of the shorts because all the commentaries
will be around.
I mean, I don't know how people do that comedy. I mean, I turn some video ideas into shorts just for fun to see what they'll do. Stuff like
one
that.
man's cringe is another man's treasure. So, like, you got like Carrot Top, you've got like any of the prop comics, like the Gallagher, like the puppet comics, any of those. I mean, there's definitely utility there, and it's someone's cup of tea. But hasn't every one of those been called cringe by somebody?
Yeah.
I don't know. Cringe comedy is always going to be there. If not, it's the marionettes with the little cringe play or something. Something's going to be there that's cringe, but it's still comedy.
Yeah. And do you think your and Patrick's work, you think it all can classify as comedy in a certain way, or is it more?
I hope so. In a certain way, I hope it definitely does. We're definitely looking to add a little bit of comedy where we can in there, but yeah, we're hoping with future content there will definitely be more.
I mean, it's sort of hard not to make fun of him too much because I'm just falling back into more. I mean, I had more fun with my Mauler video. It's sort of nitpicking Mauler. I mean, I don't feel bad about nitpicking Mauler, especially since it was in good faith fun. So I didn't have to be too much of an asshole. And I try not to be an asshole. Like even with my Kurtosis video, I try to create. But it's really hard to get into this sort of a reviewing with comedy and people sometimes take it too seriously and not realize you're joking. Like everyone has to label, oh, this is satire. And I really don't think a lot of these people who try to use the shield of satire and irony actually do it. J-Rags does, but a lot of these commentators sort of fail at it.
Yeah.
Mystery Guest has gave you links to his horrible, awful comedies. That's interesting. Maybe link that to me later.
Yeah. I think so. Definitely don't dox him on stream. But
it's personal information. Okay.
He's got some real stuff out there. I think somebody would be able to understand who it is if they saw what
I
it
don't
was.
want to know.
But
don't speak of it. We're still broadcasting gray. Yeah. Oh
Fair
God.
enough.
There's so much crap out there, and sort of the sort of the stream getting taken down sort of destroyed my momentum. I thought I had it back for a while, but I'm failing now. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to do these live streams to get practice at this. Maybe I should plan them out better, have a more structure. I wonder, but I thought this would be a nice, fun little comedy venture that, well, we still got into some of the drama by making fun of some of the people that we've covered previously, which is all fine. Yes, absolutely. Patrick ruins everything. That damn hate watcher, bringing that hate watcher mentality in here. He should learn to just go with the flow and learn to enjoy.
He hate watched most of the show. That's pretty awesome. He gave me at least 2 hate watches today.
Yeah. Hopefully he gave me 2 hate dislikes also. You got to love hate from Patrick.
Yeah, either way, engagement. It's always good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this was just kind of a conversation on it. I guess we could have had it more structured. But hey, we have a future one that will be more structured. I guess we're
obviously I'm not running that, right? That's the death of the author, hopefully.
Oh, we better have that conversation. We got to get in touch with Andrew on that. I would like to have him in there too. If not, then we should have just already had the conversation.
Okay, but maybe next
I'd like
weekend.
To get Andrew Clark involved in that one. Yeah, let me talk to Andrew and see when works for him. Yeah, we just need to get him and Patrick together at the same time. But yeah, the other one, our debate, man. I am serious.
Okay.
I am so pro Jar Jar on this. I will take down Scrappy Doo. We got to make this a real thing.
Okay, we will.
There will be structure to it. If you want to have rounds, I'm down. We can have a more structured conversation if you want.
Well, that's never what I want. I want pure and utter chaos, but that's just me. I like to be able to...
No organized chaos for you?
No, definitely just not organized. Pure. Organized chaos is boring because... sorry, I was purposely doing the to imitate organized chaos. Probably wasn't too lifelike. It's not that exaggeration of his sort of dull movements. And I'm sort of getting a little bit too mean to Bob now. Sorry, Bob, if you're watching this in the future. Probably not. But yeah, coming to the end. Satire's really hard to do on YouTube, and a lot of people don't do it very well who claim to. And
that's true.
Doing actual stand-up and even podcast is definitely something that is a talent that must be acquired. I don't probably give the stand-up comedians as much credit as I should, just because I like stories, and there's only certain comedians who do that storytelling methods like Pryor and Chappelle. I'm sure there's a few other people that are out there, but you know what? Great. Not that anyone's going to watch this in part except for our mystery stranger here, but do you want to plug anything upcoming?
Yeah, me, Patrick, and Tiamat have a video coming out on Monday. Check that out.
Nice. Premiere or?
Yeah, it'll just be a premiere.
It'll pop up ahead of time.
The hell out of it. My computer kind of ate the recording, so good times.
Yeah, good stuff. I have 2 videos I need to edit. I don't know if they're ever going to come out at this rate. I keep on sitting down to edit them, and I'm like, I don't want to do this now. I'm play a video game or do something else. They're
well, yeah, that's about where I'm at with this, but it should be out Monday, hopefully.
Okay, and we have 2 things probably set up for the future. Scrappy Doo versus Jar Jar Binks debate and death of the author. So,
Jar Jar, the greatest character compared to Scrappy Doo. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, it's a close contest, but I think Scrappy Doo does pull ahead by just a scrap. Okay, bad joke. Take care, everyone. Hope you enjoy.
Bye. Thanks for watching, everybody.